Here we go! Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Time to go some tier lists on Spider-Man. Why am I doing stream this late? Because you know I have a double life that sucks. Look out! Here comes the pop culture dude. Bow, bow, bow. So yeah, I'm going to be going solo on this. I won't be having my special guest stars because I'm just winging it. So for those who are coming to the chat, I'm giving you two, not one, but two live streams for the price of one weekend. Yesterday, just did a Sonic Fortnite stream with me and the boys, and now for this one, I'm going to continue my Spidey marathon. So, as I continue on, since nobody's in the chat right now, let me just get to my link. Now, Spider link. Get some social media advertising. Okay, hold on. Let's rank these Spidey suits in the chat. Let's rank these Spidey suits. There we go. If there's a little delay in the chat, I will catch up in a minute or two. Gotta get to the basics. There we go. I'm a loser, babe, babe, babe. Do you wanna tear my heart out? I'm a tragedy. Okay, here we go. Ranking. Okay, hold on. Now live streaming. Yeah, now live streaming. Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man suits ranking tier list. Hold on, tier list stream. Gotta make sure I can hear myself. Hold on, let me just mute the audio. Okay, good. I don't need my headphones, so now I don't have to be hearing to myself. Alright, cool to know. Alright, let me just, sorry about that. Sorry to scare my little doggy. Just gonna put these headphones away because I have no special guest stars coming along, so then my ears could circulate well. Whee! Okay, did I just make it time? Yes, this is literally just the beginning of the stream, so we're literally just starting in the past couple of minutes. In the meantime, I'm just trying to prep things up, but also try to do the promotions on social media. I know most of the kids don't have social media, but still want to be like, you know, shameless plug and be like, yeah guys, I'm doing a Spider-Man live stream right now. Go watch my stream if you have nothing else better to do, which that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So, anyway, as I continue on with some other things to do, I'm just going to check the chat real quick if nobody else is online. Yep, I only see one person as of right now. And okay, hold on. Audio's too loud. Too loud. A thief, a criminal. He stole my suits. He's a mess to the entire city. Alright, make sure we got the social media stuff plug out the way before we officially start moving on to other things. So, yeah, here we go. Really? Right now? You really have to tell me... Excuse me for a second, guys. Anyway, sorry for the interruption, guys. That wasn't supposed to happen. Anyway, just making sure if I'm missing anything out. Not really, because I kind of want to get the stream rolling. Okay, not really missing much. So, for those that are currently watching the stream as of right now, so, long story short, I've already made like a Spider-Man movie tier list ranking, which I've done it for like almost 2 weeks ago, which I've already ranked all the live-action movies, the animated movies, and the Sony Schlopper spin-offs. For now, I just want to get straight to the ranking of all of the Spider-Man suits, because if you guys don't know, if you're living under a rock, I've been making like a YouTube poll, community post not too long ago. Literally, I'm like, alright guys, for the next live stream, what should I do? And then I made the poll. I make ranking Spider-Man suits, ranking Spider-Man villains, or just going back to Sonic content, which, to be fair, I've already came back to do like a Sonic Fortnite stream just for the sake of it to get out the way. What I want to do the stream right away is this way. Jeffy drops at a birthday, not sure if you care about it. I'm aware of it, but as of right now, bro, if you want to watch SML, how about you hop off this chat and go watch SML right now and go on a timeout. Just kidding, bro. But yeah, I'm aware of it, but at the exact same time, this is not an SML stream, so if you're not a big fan of Spider-Man, sorry, buddy, but this stream is not for you to watch. But either way, just going to keep that on to the waist for sure, but we're not going to talk about SML. But anyway, let me get back on topic, so then I'm not losing out of track. So anyway, let me just get back to the point. So, yeah, I already made a Spider-Man movie tier list stream literally not too long ago. This time I'm only doing Spider-Man suits tier list ranking because, I mean, if you guys are living under a rock, check my community poll. That's what most of my subscribers, my royal chums, my viewers, whatever you want to call yourselves, mostly vote for that. And I'm like, what would I rather do, the Spider-Man suits or the Spider-Man villains? Which I will say this, because in conclusion, before I officially start the ranking, guys, so either way, let me just start with the beginning. So, we're going to be doing the Spider-Man suits tier list ranking tonight, and then I'll do one final Spider-Man live stream next week, and I don't know when, but I'll be ranking all of the Spider-Man villains, and for those that could care less about Spider-Man, don't worry about it. Next month, we're going back to the usual autistic Sonic content stuff for the next upcoming month, especially since we've been getting a lot of Sonic content lately, thanks to the Fortnite stream. And if you guys have not checked out my Fortnite Sonic stream, that was the latest one I did, so, let's move on ahead. But anyway, if I'm just going to see some mindless brain rot comments, we're just going to be starting off with the live stream today. Like I said, if you guys could care less about Spider-Man, feel free to not watch the stream and just go watch something else in your spare time. But if you do care about Spider-Man, let's talk about the suits, shall we, before we move on. So, anyway, long story short, just to wrap this up, this will be the second to my Spider-Man tier list streams. The Spider-Man suits will be tonight, and then my final Spider-Man stream for August 2026 will be the villains ranking, then we're good to go. But anyway, to not waste any more time, let's just get to the ranking right away. So let's go start off with the beginning. We got our live action suits, which, funny enough, these are the 70s to 80s era. These are just theme parks to, like, you know, Broadway live theater type of productions. And then we got the live action movies from Toby's to Andrew's to Tom's. And then we got the animated stuff. We do see a couple of Spider-Verse variants to the video games, and then a little bit of the animated series. And then we got some D-cut comic book ones. I'm not going to count all of the million countless Spider-Man suits. I'm only choosing the ones that I'm the most familiar with, or number two, originally for the ones. I mean, personally for me, I originally was only just going to focus on the Spider-Man movies and not the shows or the video games, but I swear there's going to be some Spider-Man fans in the chat that's going to be like, oh, how come you did not include the Scarlet Spider suit, not $20.99? How come you didn't include this one? So that's exactly what I was going to do. But either way, let's get started off with the suits. So, like I said, first and foremost, guys, we're going to be starting off with the live-action incarnation. So, I'm going to be very short and quick with the first three to suits because, obviously, there's nothing too much to say. We're going to be starting off with the first 70s live-action one, which is the Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man suit. If you guys have not seen, like, at least, I'm pretty sure you guys are like, you know, don't watch the show, but if you at least saw some memes, some Google images, and basically see how it looks, despite this was, like, the first live-action Spider-Man suit, because remember, guys, Spider-Man first existed back in August 1962, so of course they were trying to experiment things well. I mean, if Adam West's Batman could get his goofy blue and red, like, holy sardine, Batman, da-na-na-na-na. And around that time, I think Christopher Reeve's Superman also existed around the same suit, so around that time, eventually would get that through. I never saw Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. I don't blame you, bro, because not a lot of people seen the show. But once when I get to the Turn Off the Dark suits, we're talking about the suits. Not the shows, but just the suits. But anyway, let's get straight to the point. So, the 70s Nicholas Hammond design It's not that great, if I'm being honest with you, because, bro, the eyes kind of looks like one of those, like, soccer ball lenses, and bro basically has, like, a Power Rangers-looking belt, which we will talk about the next 70s Spider-Man. So they're telling me that bro has a belt, but he also has, like, red Adidas type of shoes, and if you watch, like, at least clips of the 70s show, he doesn't do the I love you sign when it comes to the thwip, thwip, thwip. Instead, it's like a hand, and then he just shoots it out like it's a web shooter toy that you get from Walmart or Target. So either way, the Spider logo is fine, but I feel like the Spider lines are a bit, like, very too small because I'm like, I get it, they're trying to be like the comic books, but that being said, this suit, it's not that great, it's not terrible, it's just, like, pretty much mid. I mean, like I said, not going to criticize it too much because it is the 70s, so I feel like for the Nicholas Hammond suit, well, it definitely goes around on D tier. But yeah, before I get to the Japanese 70s Spider-Man, let's just get to comments. What's up, Daniel? Good to see you, Zach, ever since the Sonic Fortnite stream. But now we get to the 70s Japanese Spider-Man, where he goes, Super Saiyan, Super Honda Spider-Man, bam, 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 bam. So yeah, even the fact that 70s Japanese Spider-Man is not the most comic accurate Spidey, but the one thing I think that the Japanese Spider-Man does better than the 70s American one, at least the eyes don't look like it's like a sports ball lens in a way. I mean, the eyes are too slant. Okay, pause, I'm just joking, not trying to make a semi-racist joke. But yeah, the fact that the eyes are very small and very slant is like, how could bro see out of that? And if you guys don't know your research, the Japanese Spider-Man is not really that faithful to the source material, except he has a different identity, he holds a gun, which obviously spawns some hilarious memes, and he's the only Spider-Man that doesn't use much of his webs. Instead, he decides to become like a Power Rangers, Voltron, Megazord, and just go, so see you Kusiobo! Like, literally just going like that. However, before I talk about the suit itself, I feel like Beyond the Spider-Verse, aka the third animated Spider-Verse movie, I mean, if you guys don't know, the Beyond the Spider-Verse trailer got leaked. If you have seen it or not, it is what it is. But I'm hoping that Beyond the Spider-Verse has the perfect opportunity to use 70s Japanese Spider-Man as a running joke and be like, wait, there's a Spider-Man that uses a giant Japanese robot, but you got to say, wow, the the spider from hell. But either way, I do think the Japanese suit is like a slight improvement over the American version. Like I said, I feel like the eyes are much better. There's much too much, like, less of belts. The only thing that's like a major difference is just the bracelet that feels like it's a little bit out of hand. So I do think the eyes definitely makes a lot more better, even though it does look too different from one. And I think Stan Lee, yes, the creator of Spider-Man and Marvel, basically says that he thinks the Japanese iteration does it more better than the 70s one. So this is just going to be a hot take, but I think 70s Spider-Man, just for the sake of the memes and just for the sake of everything, I say C tier. That's where it definitely belongs. Like I said before, guys, these first live-action Spider-Man suits, I'm going very short and quick with them before we get straight to the movies. But yes, the memes are everywhere, aside from the 60s Spider-Man. But anyway, the last of the old Spider-Man suits before we get to theme park Spider-Man and Broadway musical Spider-Man is the Electric Company Spider-Man, which, I'll say this, the eyes, in my opinion, are a downgrade compared to the Japanese one, because even though the Japanese Spider-Man eyes are so slant, but bro definitely has a bit more smaller, and I feel like the Electric Company, well, if you guys ever heard the show or not, this version of Spider-Man doesn't talk, he actually uses speech bubbles, and he's acting like a sitcom special guest star. I mean, like I said, I know it's old, and it's meant to be outdated, just like the old 70s one, but yeah, I think the one thing that is better than the 70s one is the fact that at least the lenses are a lot more clear and the spider legs are a lot more easy and visible to see, and at least this Spidey doesn't have to like have a Power Rangers looking belt just to be put on. I'm just still not the biggest fan of small eyes. I usually like Spider-Man with bigger eyes, which we will talk about that with the next Spidey suits. So I don't really have too much to say. Like I said, it's kind of weird that this version of Spidey doesn't talk. He just used speech bubbles despite it was for a live-action kids show around the day. So for this version of Spider-Man, I'm just going to go with D tier. Like, it's honestly like on the same ranking. So same thing, except, you know, it has slightly better eyes. But anyway, let's get to Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark, which I know most people have not seen the show, but I'm going to get my small confession about it before I talk about the suit itself. So yeah, some of my co-workers know of the Electric Company. Hey, that's also pretty cool, bro. But either way, Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Look, I know Turn Off the Dark is arguably the most notorious piece of Spider-Man media. Not just Spider-Man media, but for Broadway musical media by saying, oh my gosh, it's the worst Broadway musical ever. The Spider-Man actors always keep breaking their bones. Turn off the dark. More like turn on the lights because they can't sing the accents. Yes, I mean, like I said, we're not here to talk about the musical as a whole. We're just here to talk about the suit. But if I have one comment about it is, look, as a Spider-Man adaptation, but also as a Broadway musical adaptation, since I used to do theater class back in my high school days, dude, I'm gonna be honest. This musical kind of slaps. I mean, it's stupid, it's bizarre, it's corny, but man, the U2 songs from Bouncing Off the Walls, the boy falls from the sky, and Green Goblin, that show, yes, he looks very much like the Grinch, but if the Grinch had like a big green spiky makeover, bro was a scene stealer in the show of New York City, all the weird boys and girls. But yeah, other than that, Spider-Man musical, I would say Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark is a guilty pleasure. Like, clearly, it's not the best Spider-Man media, it's not the best musical, but man, I have a nostalgic soft spot for that. I've heard only mixed things about Turn Off the Dark. Yeah, so, like I said, overall, it's mixed. Like, personally for me, as we're going to talk about the suit as a whole, yes, pretty much this suit basically rips off Tobey Maguire's eyes. Even the plot of the musical basically just rehashes Spider-Man 1 and 2, but they kind of make their own Broadway twist to it. But as for the suit, yes, the eyes is basically just a shameless rip-off of Tobey Maguire, and the one thing I actually do like the suit more, because even though this came out in, like, what, 2010, 2011, I do think this suit is definitely a big upgrade compared to the other three Spidey suits that we rank on this list, because even though, yes, it does rip off Tobey's eyes, I do like the red paint on, like, on the blue lenses on the shoulders, but kind of has this, like, little bit art graffiti paint to it, which, let's be honest, guys, that kind of foreshadowed Miles Morales in Into the Spider-Verse, where he used like graffiti paint to paint his own Spidey suit in the first Spider-Verse movie. So we kind of had the blueprint of it in the show. And also for this Spidey suit, yes, the logo is pretty huge and definitely has this more like a spider type of color to it. Like, it's definitely like one of the more bigger Spidey logos. I mean, like I said, I do think the logo's too big, but I do like it mixes well with the art graffiti paints. My only complaint is like with the back logo. Like, the front logo, I'm fine with the giant spider, but I don't think it needs to be rehashed with the back logo, because mostly when we associate with Spider-Man, we're most used to seeing Spidey with the back logo, where it's more of a red spider rather than just like a repaint of black. So I will say, like, it is for sure. But however, speaking of the suit itself, dude, seeing the show on YouTube or on the internet, seeing this Spidey suit facing the Green Goblin up in the air, even if it looks goofy and corny as hell of doing all the tightrooms, bro, 10, like, how old was I when the show came out? I think I was like 10 or 11, bro. 10, 11-year-old me had chills every single time, where you get to see a dude wearing a Spidey suit literally just going off to the way. Yes, Matt actually did a joke about it. Yeah, Matt did a joke about Turn Off the Dark, but it was a Superman musical called Smallville Turn Off the Clark, and then they make a joke by saying, like, yeah, we made Spider-Man 2 musical, make it stop. And let's not forget, even Sesame Street made a joke. A kid's television show makes fun of the Spider-Man musical, where you see Grover, yes, the Muppet that goes, Super Grover! He basically dressed up as Spider-Man, and one of the Muppets looks like U2 from Bono and the Edge, and literally Sesame Street makes fun of, like, basically Sesame Street was making fun of the Spider-Man actors falling off the stage, because, you know, this show is mostly notorious for a lot of accidents, since the Spider-Man musical, it was like the most expensive Broadway musical of all time. Like, this Spider-Man musical costs more than Shrek the musical, or even the Lion King musical on Broadway, which is insane. $65 billion circus tragedy. But anyway, back on topic about the suit. So, definitely the suit is 100% for sure an upgrade compared to the other ones. And secondly, like, aside from the Green Goblin fight, bro, that one sequence, like, obviously you guys don't get the reference, but when the main Peter's singing, boy falls from the sky, all the Spidey stunt doubles wearing the suit, doing all the poses, sick, amazing, spectacular. So, honestly, for the first Spider-Man, like, stage, live show production, I would say I would put this one on B tier. Why not? I mean, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the back logo in the back, but I do think the art graffiti paint actually makes its own style, despite the mask is just a rip-off of Tobey's face, but it is what it is. So, B tier for Turn Off the Dark suit. So, before we get ready for the movie stuff, I'm just going to be talking about the theme park Spidey suits, aka bootleg T-Boat Spider-Man. So, the Universal Orlando Spider-Man suit at Universal Science Adventure. And if you guys have watched either one, my final Universal Orlando vlog, or watch a YouTube short where I met the Universal Spidey, I mean, like I said, I think the actor does a good job quipping some jokes at Spidey by saying, like, you're like Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide, Daniel's son. So I do think Spidey in the Universal Parks is the best character. But as for the suit itself, back then, the suit, like, in the 90s to the early 2000s has this very, like, light bluish type of touch, like that early 2000s Spider-Man one, and the eyes were a lot more black or dark as well. But for this one, the one that's currently updated for now in the current Universal theme parks, is definitely a lot more darker blue, the suit definitely looks a lot more comic booky. The only slight downgrade to me is definitely the eyes. I think the eyes are a downgrade compared to like what it originally used to look like. I think the color scheming of the blue looks so much better on this suit as you're looking at it, but at the same time, I think the eyes were a slight downgrade that they could have just like, you know, make a bit more blacker on the lenses where it looks less Japanese Spider-Man, if you know what I mean. But either way, I will talk about the other two theme park Spider-Man suits, but I will say this, to be honest, as much as I like the blue and the comic bookiness for the Spider-Man suit, it easily, I mean, like I said, no disrespect, it feels like it's like a Halloween costume, if I'm being honest. Like, it definitely likes one of those bootleg spirit Halloween costumes from Party City, and then you put it on and be like, hey kids, I'm Spider-Man for your children's 5-year-old birthday party. That's the type of vibe that I just got from the suit. So clearly, if I had to do a ranking for this suit, I would just honestly put on C-tier. I mean, like I said, it's decent for what it is, because obviously it's meant to be comic book Spider-Man. It's not to represent the live-action movies, which we will talk about the next two theme park Spidey suits. So if I had to give this one a ranking, probably C-tier. C-tier doesn't seem too bad. But on to the next two theme park Spider-Man suits. So then we got Disneyland California's Avengers Campus Tom Holland Spider-Man suit, which clearly this suit is 100% inspired by Tom Holland Spider-Man suit. And secondly, the coolest thing about the Avengers Campus Disneyland Spider-Man over the Universal Spidey is, number one, they do a good job paying a homage to like Tom Holland's like the eye lenses, even the web shooters that he has in the later movies, especially from Homecoming to Brand New Day. But I also like that the Spidey logo definitely has a lot more like bigger like legs like in the middle, and that kind of foreshadow Brand New Day skin. But if I had to compare it to like one Spidey suit in the MCU, which is, it's neither of Tom Holland's movies, but I would say it's more like the Disney Plus What If Marvel Zombie suit. That's what the logo reminds me of. And I feel like if you guys look it up on YouTube, on social media, I mean, if there's one thing that Disneyland Spider-Man does better than Universal Spider-Man is, there's literally like a stunt show where the guy in the Spider-Man suit, then you got Tom Holland's voicing the voiceover saying, yo, Sharon, decide to put me up. And then you got this giant animatronic Spider-Man going all the way down. Then they play the iconic Tom Holland Spider-Man theme, dun, 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 dun. And then literally you got the dude literally just web swinging by a pole, crawling on the wall, and then that's gonna blow a lot of young kids' mind by saying, oh my gosh, Mom, Dad, look, Spider-Man is real. And I see like the cute viral social media posts where you see this Disneyland Spidey being friends with not just with the Marvel cast stars, but all the kids, like giving them helpful hugs. Whoever's putting that suit on and giving that love to the young Spider-Man kids, bro, you're doing the role of Spider-Man justice. But the suit itself, I like the eye lenses. I definitely like the, I mean, like I said, just like Homecoming suit, definitely has like the lining like the Stark Homecoming suit. But I will say this, as a theme park Spider-Man suit, it easily has like the best looking Spider-Man look, and I feel like as a theme park suit, it definitely like looks the most movie accurate, despite like its own take. So if I had to rank it, I would give it an A tier. And now for the final theme park one. So before we had the MCU Tom Holland Spider-Man suit, back then this is like the old Disneyland Spider-Man suit before they take it more based on Tom Holland. When this is like before Tom Holland decided to become Spider-Man in the MCU, like from 2016 to 2017. They had their own version of Spider-Man, which is basically like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but the difference is they just copied the eyes, and the only thing they changed the logo. So I'll say this, it's not that original compared to Andrew Garfield's, because this feels like a copy, control, paste knockoff of it. But for what the suit, for what it is, it's not that bad. I mean, they definitely make the logo change to make it Disney-ified, but I just don't think it's pretty accurate where you have this version of Spider-Man interacting with the MCU version of the Avengers, and, you know, just didn't get passed through. So, if I had to give this one a ranking, because there's not much to say besides being an Andrew Garfield ripoff, I say B2 will be fine. Can you play Kingdom Hearts Sunday? Spoiler alert, I just sold my Kingdom Hearts 3 on eBay on my store not too long ago. But if you're going to say, like, ask me if I'm going to play Kingdom Hearts 4 someday in the future, maybe. I mean, like I said, usually when people ask me like what other games or what other content ideas I should do in the future, it depends if the fans wanted it. Like, it's not just one person. Like there needs to be like a huge demand for it by saying, Daniel, do this, just like what I'm doing with this live stream right now. So maybe someday in the future, if Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out, I'll think about it. But anyway, I'm about to talk for Spider-Man. So anyway, before I talk about the movie suits, 24 minutes, like I said, guys, I think this is going to be one of my most shortest streams I'm ever going to do, but either way, let's just continue on with the live-action movie suits from Tobey Maguire's Sam Raimi Glorious Days. So starting off with this suit, aka the Human Spider, or in the words of Bruce Campbell, the Amazing Spider-Man. The name's the Human Spider. No, you got my name, or just get out there, you moron. Okay, so clearly this is Tobey Maguire's first suit, because obviously the best thing about Tobey Maguire's first Spider-Man suit around that time. Hello there, how are you doing today? It's the time of Spider-Man. Yeah, absolutely. And now I'm just talking about the movie suits. We were just ranking these old 70s Spidey suits and these theme park suits, but now we're talking about the movies. But anyway, the coolest thing about this suit, the wrestling suit, number one, you can clearly tell it's inspired by the Ultimate Spider-Man wrestler comics where he like puts on a ninja mask and then he got a spider logo. But secondly, of course, you guys, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have seen the original Spider-Man movie. The coolest thing about that sequence was Tobey Maguire had this very drawing art montage of designing the suit. Then you got that iconic Danny Elfman music. Literally the best thing about that montage, it inspires the red and blue, because, you know, the spider that bit Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is red and blue. So what did Tobey do? He eventually decides to like make himself a ninja mask. And I do like the spider logo on it because, I mean, granted, this movie was made in the early 2000s, so that's why you have that early 2000s vibe. And secondly, since this was basically the prototype suit for Tobey's Peter for, number one, his origin story. Number two, I feel like out of all the homemade suits, from Tobey's to Andrew's to Tom's, I feel like Tobey's homemade suit is definitely like the most believable and realistic one. Like, if you're granted with spider powers, would you have the budget to like make some articulated goggles or look like a street thug burglar with a red ski mask? This one feels like the most like realistically believable homemade suit by saying, yeah, let me just spray paint spider logo, let me look like Kai from Lego Ninjago, and then puts on some biker gloves on, wearing some blue, and I forgot what shoes he's wearing. I think he was wearing like Nikes in the film. And yeah, the best thing about this suit, I mean, thanks to Tobey Maguire's cheesy lines of deliveries of staying away for you. That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you? After when Macho Man's like, hey freak show, you going nowhere, I got you for 3 minutes of playtime. So yeah, either way, this suit is really amazing because number one, it vibrates the red and blue colors of the suit, but also it's a great prototype suit for that. I created that costume in a WWE video game. Hey, I mean, first of all, that makes a lot of sense because, you know, Tobey Maguire definitely did some pro wrestling against Randy Savage with the Macho Man. But yeah, Song Spider-Man Brand New Day is the best Spider-Man movie. Good for you to know, man, which we've talked about the Spider-Man movies in like the last couple streams earlier today. But yeah, this suit is really good for like, to me it's one of those suits that really flies ahead of its time. And another compliment I will say, even though I did say that this homemade suit is definitely like the most realistically believable looking suit for like the homemade suits compared to Tobey, Andrew's, and Tom's. But for Tobey's, I mean, I feel like for cosplayers at cosplay conventions, they can literally take inspiration, like put on a red ski mask, put on some Spider-Man suits. I feel like out of all the homemade suits, I can easily tell this one's probably the most comfortable one compared to like the first like real official suits. Yeah, nice Randy Savage impersonation. Go buy me some Turkey Savage. My world's on fire. How about yours? And what's another line he says? Bullseye is ready. Yeah, Randy Savage, because, you know, you got freaking Macho Man versus Tobey Maguire. And yeah, the best thing about this scene, like after obviously when Uncle Ben dies, dude, even though when he's trying to like web swing into the scene and you get that iconic Danny Elfman score, nah, and I like they get to see Tobey's emotion in his eyes when he's trying to track down Uncle Ben's quote-unquote shooter that took him down. And then literally around that time, literally take off that mask, and like I said, this suit looks really good. Like no matter how it looks for the wrestling match, it's easily going up there as an A tier on my book. Like easily the most colorful homemade suit. But now we're getting into the peaches and cream of Tobey suits from the OG one. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. People can really do that costume for Hollywood and says, I'm Spider-Man. I missed the part where that's my problem. Yeah, like I said, I feel like that's the easiest. Like, if you don't have the budget to, like, make a proper Spider-Man suit or at least buy one, that one's, like, probably the easiest, probably most comfortable one to cosplay as for anyone that wants to dress up as Spidey. But as for Tobey's main suit, so I know you guys are going to be slightly confused, and even people mentioned about this in my last live stream by saying, yeah, in Spider-Man 1, you can say that the suit looks the same, but the major difference is the webbing and the spider logo and the back logo as well. So yeah, I can definitely tell between Spider-Man 1, because the one I'm about to rank right now is the Spider-Man 1 suit, and then the next suit after that will be Spider-Man 2 and 3 suit, which I could definitely notice the slight upgrades, even though they look identically the same. But as for the Spider-Man 1 suit, I mean, it's an easy S tier in my book, because number one, it's the first Spidey suit I get to see on the big screen, and I mentioned in one of my older Spider-Man movie streams, I did say Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is not what it wasn't the movie that made me a Spider-Man fan. It's what got me into the Marvel Universe as a whole if it weren't for that movie. And I feel like one of the biggest reasons why I love the first Spider-Man movie is because of the suit, man. And now I'm seeing people making some off-topic questions about Spider-Man. Heard Warner Bros. Making another Tom and Jerry movie where it's going to China. Yeah, I've heard about that, but we'll talk about that for a later time. But anyway, yeah, easily Tobey Spider-Man is an S tier when it comes to suit because, come on, bro, the silver lining, and specifically in the first movie, like, it's so cool that you get to see some island close-up shots, like from the eye shot, and then also, you know the iconic scene where Green Goblin takes down Mary Jane, the kids, and be like, who we are, who we choose to be, now choose. And then it goes to Mary Jane on the left side of the eye, and then the right side on the right lens. It looks really amazing, especially when Tobey's Peter actually went upside down, or especially when he's wall crawling, especially during the scene where his blood was dripping when Norman Osborn was sensing his goblin senses. Like, literally, like, Tobey's Peter, like, crawling up on the wall. It makes it look so iconic. If I have some small complaints about the first movie suit is, you can easily tell that the logo, more specifically the front logo, is much more smaller, while Spider-Man 2 and 3's logo is definitely a lot more bigger, which we will talk about that in the next couple of minutes. But yeah, I can tell that the logo in the first movie was much more smaller, and the spider logo had like more of the spider legs, like more pointed, like in a left and right angle, kind of like this, but not like straight like this, like the Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3 suit. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But the best thing about the first suit is, like, not only it's very iconic and obviously inspired many Spider-Man suits such as Andrew Garfield's and Tom Holland's and many, many, many other Spider-Man iterations. The best thing about the first movie suit, dude, when the suit gets battle damage at the very end of the movie, when Green Goblin goes kaboom on the pumpkin bomb, exploding Tobey Peter's face, bro, like, his suit being battle damaged where you see like half his face and beating the crap out of Green Goblin where Tobey Peter's aura forming in that suit, dude, like, I mentioned about this in my Spider-Man movies tier list ranking, that the Spider-Man 1 final battle is probably like my favorite final battle in a Spider-Man movie, and that's mainly because Tobey's, like, the first movie suit is so bad, like, so battle damaged, it's so ripped apart, tear apart, it's like, dude, he looks like a badass warrior, y'all. So, that being said, and also, it gave us the iconic final swing of the, this is my gift, this is my curse, who am I? I'm Spider-Man. So, easy S tier in my book. But anyway, moving on to Spider-Man 2 and 3 suits. So, I can definitely tell this suit, I mean, I can definitely say the same about the first movie suit. It's iconic, it's great, but I do think this suit is definitely, like, a whole lot better because even though, yeah, in the first movie, it definitely has a lot more lighter blue texture on the lenses when it comes to, like, the blue paddings. But I like this one better from Spider-Man 2 and 3 because, obviously, they have much better, like, cinematography looks, however he's web-swinging. But I noticed that this suit, when it comes to the blue, is definitely a lot more darker. I mean, the only downgrade is we don't see to get that much battle damage. I mean, it did get ripped apart in the Dr. Octopus train sequence where I think Doc Ock literally, like, rip apart, like, the side of it, and that's where we get to the you have a train to catch scene where literally like the sides of his suit gets ripped apart, or even during the scene in the, I think it's the warehouse, yeah, it was the warehouse where the suit kind of like rips apart like on the arm. I heard a podcast, the final battle had to be toned down, edited, avoided to a rated R. Yes, that is very true because the first movie's ending was meant to be a lot more brutal, a lot more lethal and bloodier, so of course they don't want to make it too far-fetched and still want to keep you PG-13. But anyway, back to this suit. So, it looks great in Spider-Man 2. I mean, I feel like when it comes to the CGI, when it comes to this suit in both Spider-Man 2 and 3, it looks really amazing. Especially when he's web-swinging, taking down the pizzas and trying to deliver the pizza on time. It looks great. Or in pretty much any fight scene with Doc Ock, the suit also looks spectacular in most of those shots. And then for Spider-Man 3, like, for this scene, I think one of my favorite shots with this suit is when he's trying to save Bryce Dallas Howard's Gwen Stacy because, you know, it's not a Spider-Man movie. If a significant love interest falls down and Spidey has to go catch that woman falling, it's part of the Spider-Man tropes. I do like how the suit looks where, again, like the first movie where you get a close-up shot of the eye and then you get to see Tobey's Peter going down to like these rubble building edges and saves Gwen. Dude, the suit looks very iconic. And I noticed that even though the front logo has been changed and the blue shading's been changed, and I feel like the webbing on the webs, like on the suit, definitely looks a lot more silver and less darker than the first movie. I noticed that the back logo in Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, it definitely has a lot more like black, like back lenses, like in the back, like literally like the spider legs are like up behind. And then since I'm going to take a guess that they just reused the suit in No Way Home for what I've remembered. So even though the suit in No Way Home, Tobey's Peter to be exact, looks exactly the same, but the only major difference is definitely the mask, because you could tell that in No Way Home they rushed the CGI. Like, the mask looks so amazing in the Sam Raimi trilogy, but in No Way Home it kind of looks like unfinished and unwrapped. But at least the suit itself still looks as good as it was for Spider-Man 2 and 3 by comparison. The only complaint I have about Tobey's Peter for like future movies, or in this case Tobey Spider-Man, is, bro, if Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is an Avengers Doomsday, number one, please don't tell me his suit is a CGI mocap, because we already had that with Tom Holland's version. Why we want to do it for Tobey? But then I hear rumors by saying, oh, because they didn't finish Tobey Maguire's suit in time for Avengers Doomsday. I'm like, why not just reuse the exact same suit that he wore in No Way Home? That doesn't make any sense, Marvel. And secondly, if Tobey Maguire does die in Avengers Doomsday, dude, I'm going to put some dirt in your eye. Secondly, you're going to make a lot of fans upset, and you're going to make them hate the Fox X-Men. But anyway, I don't want to spoil Avengers Doomsday leaks. I'm just pointing that out there for anybody that is like fully aware of the Tobey Maguire rumors of him, well, in this case, his version of Spider-Man appearing in Avengers Doomsday. Well, overall, no matter if the suit is like in any action sequence, whether it's Doc Ock, Sandman, or even the final fight with Venom, where the eyepiece kind of like broken apart because Sandman was crushing on, then you get to see his face. I will say this, I feel like out of all the Spider-Man live action suits, Tobey's Spidey suit looks the best when it's battle damage compared to Andrew and Tom's, because sadly for Andrew's and Tom's suits, we don't see that much battle damage, but for Tobey, it's more believable when it's all ripped apart than Tobey has to like sew it all over again. So without question, easily S tier, because why? It's definitely the GOAT. Acknowledge it. But as for the final suit for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suits, let's say it together, guys. How'd that get in there? This is something else. No, just to quote him when he got the black suit on. I feel fast. I feel strong. I feel good. Like, literally, just quoting that. But either way, yes, the black suit symbiote Spider-Man, a.k.a. the Bully Maguire suit. Look, I know from the concept art, they were trying to make the symbiote Spider-Man suit, like, very comic accurate, but then they'd be like, okay, he's gonna look like a naked man in a black Zentai suit, so they try their best to make it comic accurate. Like, yes, you can easily say that the symbiote Spider-Man suit is just a copy and paste, like, black version of the red and blue suit from Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3 as well. But I will say this suit, despite it's the only live-action symbiote Spider-Man suit for now, fingers crossed for Tom Holland's version. I think when Tom Holland gets the symbiote, like in Avengers Secret Wars or maybe for Spider-Man 5, boom, Tom Holland most likely will get the comic accurate suit, which we will talk about later. But that being said, the black suit Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man 3 black suit slaps, bro. Like, even though you can arguably say it's just a copy and paste of the red and blue suit, but dude, the logo, the way that the logo definitely looks a lot more sinister, a lot more longer than this. Secondly, thanks to this black suit, we got the most hardest posters in movie history where we get to see black suit Spider-Man in the rain, playing some 3 Days Grace, Green Day, Linkin Park, AMVs. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. But man, the poster of black suit Spider-Man slaps, bro. From the church poster to the red and black symbiote sculpture in a way. You guys know what I'm talking about. My only complaint about, it's not about the suit itself, it's the complaint that we haven't seen too much of the black suit symbiote most of the time, because obviously we get to see emo Bully Maguire just in his hairline and just being up Harry Osborn, humiliating Eddie Brock. You want forgiveness? Get religion. But most of the time, the only times that we get to see the black suit Spider-Man suit is when he first got it. Then we got the iconic meme where he goes, "This is something else." Second time he wore it was taking down Eddie Brock's camera where he says, "See ya, chump," and then taking out Sandman. Yeah, that fight between the black suit Spider-Man and Sandman, that was awesome. It looks peak. The CGI on the black suit symbiote Spider-Man looks so cool, especially when he's like crawling in the shadows trying to take down Sandman the train. Like, you know, that scene where he goes, "Remember Ben Parker, the guy you shot down in cold blood? What does it matter to you anyway? Everything! Ah, it's time to pay, Marco." Dude, literally the suits for it. The black suit theme was meme material. It always has been ever since it was first debuted in 2007. But yeah, the Sandman fight is where we get the symbiote suit. My only disappointment with this suit is we never get to see in the daylight. Like, guys, if you're looking about it in the picture, this is like the only daylight poster you see of the black suit. And I think it was either in the editor's cut or in the extended cut that we were supposed to get some daytime Black Suit Spider-Man screens, but you know, they completely cut that off for the scene. But I feel like the scene definitely, no. The symbiote, Black Suit Spider-Man symbiote suit mostly works at nighttime, but I would have liked to see, like, in the day, like most, like, other Spider-Man media. I'll say this, if Tom Holland gets his black suit, we most likely get to see some daytime scenes. I feel like as cool and as sick the suit is, and yeah, you guys will probably get an idea of where I'm going to rank the suit in the tier list ranking in the next couple of seconds. But I will say this, if there's one thing I will wish to see what the symbiote Spider-Man suit does, aside from the looks, I wish we would see like more symbiote powers out of it. I mean, the only time we see it was the black webbing, including when he tries to take off the suit straight from the comics of, oh, and then Peter just going bare butt-ass naked, taking off the symbiote in the church tower. It was cool to see, but that's like the only time we get to see the black suit actually using alien symbiote powers. I mean, that's what Toby said in No Way Home. I fought an alien made out of black goo once. What do you mean by that, Peter? But joking aside, I do wish we get to see more of the alien symbiote powers, which sadly we don't get to see that in the film. But I feel like for Tom Holland's symbiote Spider-Man, we could definitely see that for his version. And besides, I mean, like I said, before I get to my final ranking of the black suit, Tobey Maguire suit, dude, if Tom Holland gets the black suit symbiote, especially since in both No Way Home and Brand New Day, where he gets very angry berserk, where he almost, and Green Goblin's life, he was almost about to, you know, beat Scorpion to death, like, for a while, where he goes, "Who are you?" And I'm like, dude, Destin Daniel Cretton, the director of the movie, has the perfect blueprint from the symbiote. So if they did the symbiote justice for Tom Holland's version for like maybe the next Spider-Man movie, I feel like if they do the symbiote storyline for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, that would be like, I think it might be the best symbiote adaptation live action that might dethrone Spider-Man 3. But for now, it's just Tobey Maguire that has the only black suit in live action. That's the symbiote, not the other black iteration suits. But anyway, let me just comment right here. I would like to see the editor's cut of Spider-Man 3. I don't think it's released on DVD and Blu-ray, but I definitely say you should look it up on YouTube. Don't forget to mention that Tobey Maguire did hit Mary Jane Watson. I do agree that I believe the black suit. Yeah, it was used a lot more in the 90s animated series, Spectacular Spider-Man. I mean, the reason why I didn't put the 90s black suit in it, because it's going to look identically the same as most other symbiotes, which I will talk about. I'll talk more about the symbiote suit itself later on to the stream. But as for the black suit Spider-Man 3, I mean, like I said, it may not be the most comic accurate, but for what it is, dude, it is sick. Like, it definitely, you want some more nuts? Go make me some. Literally S tier. It's like literally all of Toby's suits, from his first movie suit to his sequel suit, the black suit. It's all S tier in my book. So yeah, before we get to Andrew Garfield, let me just take a sip of Aquafina. Yeah, anyway, before we get to Andrew Garfield suits, wow, 41 minutes. Like I said, guys, I think this might be one of the more shorter live streams I'm going to do, like, on this channel. Probably, like, the shortest tier list stream ever, but either way, as I continue on with Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man suits, which sadly, yeah, Toby only has 4 suits. Andrew sadly only got 3, because obviously, you know, my boy Andrew Garfield got only 2 suits. And speaking of Andrew Garfield, before I talk about his first homemade origin suit, yeah, yesterday was his birthday, so a happy 43rd birthday to Andrew Garfield, even though bro's becoming more hairier. Hey, Andrew Garfield, you coming back to Avengers Secret Wars? I'm not the werewolf. You're not the epic werewolf. I'm not. Sorry, just making fun of how Andrew Garfield would be like calling himself, you're the bloody werewolf. But anyway, on to his origin homemade suit. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I mean, thankfully this suit does not have that much screen time, bro. This is not Spider-Man at all. I mean, I get in the context of the movie, Andrew Garfield's Peter is supposed to be more like a realistic, vigilante, rebel type of guy. And of course, like I said, before we talk about his main suit in the first movie, I mean, I get this kind of like took inspiration from like Andrew Garfield definitely needs a more Hispanic suit. But when it comes to this homemade suit, bro does not look like Spider-Man at all. He looks like one of those GTA criminals that got online by saying, hey, yo, I'm Spider-Man. I put the money in the bag. Put you on the bag or else I'll shoot you and just go glock, glock, glock with my Glock. Like, literally, that's the vibe I got. Because obviously it has this very New York gangster type of look to it. I mean, the only Spidey coat it is only just like the mask and the sunglasses, which clearly not inspires the main suit. So, either way, and does not look the most Spidey suit of them all, and I understand there are like some fans out there that honestly would put this on a higher ranking, but either way, I don't think the suit's eventually going to be that amazing. So, out of all the 3 suits, it's easily the weakest one. Definitely looks like Netflix bootleg Spider-Man suit, so honestly F tier just because it just looks nothing like Spider-Man at all. But speaking of big, massive improvements, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suits, aka the Basketball Man suit. So either way, okay, I have my cousin and I have some friend of mine that always debate, the second suit is better, the first suit is better, but personally for me, I will talk about the second suit like in the next couple of minutes, but let's talk about the first main. Okay, I believe he's, yeah, that's exactly what he do in the first movie, but sadly, when Andrew Garfield's trying to track down the guy who shot down Uncle Ben, that never got resolved in the movie. He kind of just gave up on that since there's a lot of criminal lookalikes. But either way, as for, no, my OBS, no. Okay, there we go. I thought I was gonna disconnect for a while, y'all. Just making sure things are all going good. Easy peasy, nice and cheesy. But yeah, let me just talk about the TASM 1 suit, aka the first Amazing Spider-Man suit. This movie came out when I was like 10 years old, and dude, I was so awestruck of the suit. Like, clearly, it's never going to top Tobey Maguire's iconic suit, and pretty much that was kind of the point of this suit. Number one, they want to make a suit that's very different for Tobey Maguire, so then they don't rip off Tobey's Spidey suit, because that suit was so iconic in the 2000s. But now that we're in the 2010s era, this suit is very unique in its own ways. I mean, like I said, it may not be the best Spider-Man suit ever made, but one, it kind of gives Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker his own identity. I mean, yes, the texture looks very basketball, but I really like the red and blue, like, linings all over the fingers. Like, the webbing looks a lot more, like, tangent for a bit. I like that the spider logo is very tall and just make it a lot more gigantic in a way. And I like how the suit's a lot more agile and flexible. And I even like the blue color shadings from the back. And I think, like, the coolest thing for what makes this suit slightly better than Tobey's is the shoe paddings, because the attention of Andrew's Peter in the first Amazing Spider-Man movies, like, let's make a really good, realistic take of Spider-Man as possible. And the best thing about this version of Spider-Man is, like, how can we make this version of Spider-Man suit pretty believable to make on? I mean, I like that during the montage, he literally looks up, what was it? It's not eBay, it's, Bing, that's the website. Nobody uses Bing anymore because we all use Google or AI. But this version of Peter looks up spandexes, and we definitely see him connect, like, literally removing sunglasses shades to put onto the suit. So I'm like, alright, that makes sense, he'll get out of it. And I will be honest, during the suit where he puts it on, like in the opening montage on the top of the Oscorp Tower where it goes, oh, dude, it looks so amazing. But I feel like the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit shines the most. Similar like Tobey's black suit in Spider-Man 3, Andrew Garfield's first Amazing Spider-Man suit shines the most when it's nighttime, because it definitely has like this dark aesthetic to it, just like the movie itself. My complaint about this suit is, if you guys rewatch The Amazing Spider-Man 1, there's some shots where the eyes definitely looks a lot more sunglasses, and then there's one shot where he's fighting the lizard in the sewers. The eyes look a lot more yellow for some reason, like more plastically. Like, it tries to like copy Tobey's eyes, but they make it more yellow. I feel like that's a little bit of a nitpick I have. Like, some shots shows the sunglasses shades and then it goes like yellowish in a way, because I know in the merchandise they want to make the eyes yellow to make sure, like, yeah, make it more realistic, make it so different for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. But bro, when the lizard decided like rips the chest out of it, which, you know, that leads to like a giant like scar wound that Andrew's Peter has to go to when he gets to break up with his hot girlfriend Emma Stone's going to clean up those woods. Literally, when Lizard was trying to like rip the spider lens where he goes, I'm getting stronger every day, and just rip off the suit, it looks really cool. I mean, even though it may not be as cool as Tobey's battle damage suit, but I do like the battle damage mainly for Andrew's first Spider-Man suit, especially when he crawls up the walls but also tries to wrap up the lizard like an actual spider. It was really cool, especially when he was like find the lizard in the hallway and then he goes like limos. I feel like out of all the Spider-Man suits, this is definitely like the most agile, most flexible one. I mean, heck, even when the suit's cut or even when he's bleeding like during the Oscorp Tower, dude, the web swinging scenes in this suit are just, dare I say it, amazing, bro. Especially hearing the iconic James Horner score every time he web swings. Da na na na, da na 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 na, na 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 na, da na 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 na. So yeah, the best thing about this suit is like the web swinging, the color shading. I mean, there's not that much daytime scenes. I mean, similar like the black suit of Spider-Man, there's not a lot of daylight showings when it comes to this version of Spidey, but it looks fine for what it is, which we will talk about his second movie suit in a second. But either way, for the suit itself, it looks really much the best at night. It definitely brings like this version of Spider-Man his own identity as an own, and the red and blue shading, like, sure, a lot of fans did not like it back in the day, but the whole point of like making the shades is like make sure the criminals, or in this case make it more intimidating to the lizard, it just makes it look pretty badass. So honestly, for me, if I had to do a ranking of the Andrew Garfield suit, it's a debate. Shall I put it on A tier or S tier? Because like I said, I don't think it's as great as Tobey's suit, so I think I'm going to put it on A tier as of right now. A tier because, you know, it's absolutely amazing for what it is. I think I'll, like, rank it better. Yeah, hold on. I'll rank it better than the theme park Spider-Man suit for Disneyland. Yeah, I think A tier definitely fits along there. But as for the, like, his second movie suit, boy, I know some fans prefer the first movie suit, but man, the second movie suit is such a high glow up, bro. Even though, yes, I'm one of those fans that prefers the James Horner theme from the first movie of but I will be honest, it is quite nostalgic where the beginning of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I mean, we're not going to talk about the movie as a whole, but if there's one thing that is amazing about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, boy, this is like, I mean, around that time, before Brand New Day suit, and of course after Tobey Maguire, this used to be my favorite live-action Spider-Man suit of all time, bro. I mean, yes, the eyes may be a little bit too big, same goes for the logo, but dude, the red colors, the blue shading, it's, I mean, just quote that Homelander meme, it was just perfect in every ounce and every bit. It's like, dude, like, the way from the web shooters were, like, very small, but also, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 gave us the best web-swinging scenes until Brand New Day decided to top that up. Bro, like, literally seeing that iconic red logo from the back of the opening sequence of going dude, from the eye shadings on how the way it looks and the way that he gets Laura agile, like, this definitely is, like, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is, like, definitely the epitome of the most comic booky Spider-Man suit until Tom Holland suits came in the way. Because, dude, the way that, like, even though I said his first movie suit looks better at night, this suit in particular, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, it looks amazing in both the daytime settings and the nighttime settings. That even Andrew Garfield wore that suit full time in No Way Home. And I like that detail that in No Way Home, Andrew Garfield's Peter kept his Spider-Man suit throughout the entire movie while Tobey Maguire puts on his average Peter Parker clothes and then he saves Tobey Spider-Man. I like that in No Way Home. You get the detail where Tobey's Peter bounces between the Spider and the Man, while Andrew Garfield's Peter is definitely like full-time more Spidey. I mean, even Andrew Garfield said in No Way Home is like, I got no time for Peter Parker stuff. But other than that, like in No Way Home and the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, it looks really amazing, especially when he fights Electro with the CGI, especially that Times Square sequence where he like goes in slow motion of how the way he looks from the webbing and then goes like in very quatchless, like. The best thing about Andrew Garfield, too, is, like, he definitely emotes a lot of body language, a lot where he, like, makes fun of the criminals, where he makes fun of Rhino, where he goes, you call me Webhead, you call me amazing, just don't call me late for dinner, you get it? Or the hilarious scenes where Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man goes full-on Bugs Bunny, where he puts on, like, different disguises. Like, he kept the suit on when he's trying to, like, get some medicine at a pharmacy, and he's like, I'm Spider-Man. Hutsu, I'm Spider-Man. Or that one time, with that exact same suit, try to take down Electro, and then he puts on, like, a firefighter hat suit. Like, definitely the best thing about this Spidey suit, like, not only it looks amazing in the action, it's amazing during the comedy moments where Andrew Garfield's Peter, like, embraces the Spider-Man comedy of putting down Rhino's pants, doing the humming thing, and get run over by a police car. That was hilarious. And even though I prefer the first movie suit when it's battle damage, but I feel like the suit for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit is not too bad. I mean, it slightly got burned, pun intended, slightly got electrically shocked by Electro where he starts shocking him over. You get to see a little bit of burned lenses coming right through, especially from the body language of how he emotes in the suit where he's trying to tell Gwen by saying, what are you doing here, Gwen? I'm telling you, I'm not messing you around. Like, literally, there's so much emotion from Andrew's body language in that suit in a way. Okay, I heard that Entertainment Weekly that Andrew's suit was supposed to have a spotlight flashlight. Wait, are you talking about the first movie suit? I feel like the first movie suit was supposed to have that over the second one. I'm just slightly confused. But, even though there's not that much battle damage when it comes to the suit, man, but even though we will talk about the Dane DeHaan Green Goblin, the featured villain tier list, but I will say this, the suit definitely looks cool in that intense clock tower scene where he's trying to save Gwen. Yeah, like, you can definitely see from the emotions that Spider's about to face when he's trying to stop the clock tower. That suit just really looks good. Especially when he came back to rescue that kid, Jorge. You see the amount of aura that this version of Spidey has, like literally just standing up to like save like one Spidey fanboy, or that one time where he's on the police car, and literally like showing like pretty much like the first movie suit. I mean, I feel like the agility has a bit of a limit in the second movie suit, but it definitely looks better in the movie. But the way that he uses like the sewer lid and taking down the Rhino of literally just looks good in live action. I mean, like I said before, say all you want about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as a movie as a whole, but as of right now, it's definitely up there on the S tier ranking. So I honestly put it up there next to the Tobey Maguire suit from Spider-Man 1. So, yeah, it's definitely up there in that ranking in my personal opinion. There we go. Amazing Spider-Man 2, easy S tier. And last thing we'll say about Andrew Garfield's suit is, when Tom Holland said, when he was filming Brand New Day, they said, like, what's your favorite Spider-Man suit that's not your own, Tom? And Tom said that his favorite Spider-Man suit that's not his own is Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. And I think Tom Holland did say that in No Way Home, he cannot remove, like, his mask or his gloves or properly use the bathroom and does not have zippers on the gloves. But then Tom Holland exposed that both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield had that in No Way Home. So Tobey and Andrew could take off their suits comfortably in No Way Home. But Tom Holland, he had to suffer in that suit with all that sweat and be like, hey guys, I need to pee. I need to take the water, dude. But yeah, either in that, it's an amazing suit. I mean, in the words of Tobey, you are amazing. So yeah, that's all for Andrew Garfield's suits. Now we're going to get to Tom Holland's suits, which obviously, out of all the Spider-Man movie suits, clearly Tom Holland definitely has the most suits because number 1, Iron Man. Number 2, it's the MCU. Number 3, you gotta milk as much Spider-Man suits to sell toys and inspire cosplayers with their own Spidey drips. So before we start ranking the homemade suit, which is the third and final live-action homemade suit in live-action movies, we're gonna count how many Tom Holland suits are there in total, which, yeah, we're counting them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 in total. I know you're going to say, but wait, there's 8. That No Way Home suit looks exactly the same like Brand New Day. But Brand New suit definitely makes some adjustments, just like they did with Tobey's suit for the first movie and the second movie, which we will talk about that later on. But anyway, now we're on the Tom Holland MCU era of the Spider-Man suits. So, the homemade suits. I will say this, even though Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is definitely the most realistically believable one just because of the ninja mask. But I will say, out of the homemade suits, I think Tom Holland has the best looking one in my personal opinion, because even though, yes, Tobey's homemade suit has a much bigger Spider-Man logo and he can easily see, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man homemade suit looks nothing like Spider-Man at all, which is why I put Andrew's suit on a low F tier. But as for Tom's suits, I like that Tom's is basically an inspiration of the Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider, which if you guys can see right here, it's basically inspired by that suit, but except the red is on the hoodie, while the blue is on the legs and the arms compared to the Scarlet Spider. So you can clearly tell it's inspired by that suit. And secondly, way before Tom Holland gets his quote-unquote Iron Man suits, we slightly see the homemade suit in Civil War where Tony Stark goes to Peter Parker's apartment, goes, that's you, right? And then you get to see a little sneak peek of it. And then we get to see most of the homemade suit in Homecoming. And I will say this, even though Tom Holland's Peter is very smart, I'd still kind of question by saying, wait, how does he manage to, like, have some goggles to put on that? Even in Captain America Civil War, Tony Stark literally asked Peter Parker, like, he puts on the glasses to be like, Lordy, how can he see in these? And then Peter says, oh, it controls, like, my spider senses where it's dialed up to 11, which even though in Homecoming there was barely any spider senses moments until Far From Home, No Way Home, and Brand New Day used the Spidey sense, while for Homecoming, not so much. So I felt like that was like a slight retcon about the homemade suits, goggles, in Civil War. But I like that the homemade goggles, despite it's not as realistically believable as Tobey's suit, I like the fact that this suit definitely has a very, like, nice homemade, yeah, pun intended, homemade touch to it, where it has, like, the red goggles, and but also, like, the hoodie as a whole. Like, for instance, it definitely looks believable that a teenager could make, like, a cheap Spider-Man costume with that. I think one of the Shockers made a joke by saying, what's with the crappy costume? And I feel like during that scene in Homecoming where he puts the homemade suit on, because, you know, in Homecoming, Peter got punished for, like, not following Tony Stark's rules, so then he needs the whole Stark suit back, which we will talk about the Stark Homecoming suit later on. But the coolest thing about the homemade suit is, number one, it is 100% made by Peter Parker, not Tony Stark, not Doctor Strange, not Nick Fury. This is 100% made by Peter Benjamin Parker himself in the MCU. And secondly, thanks to the suit, you can definitely tell it's very believable whenever he gets, like, battle and damage hit. When he's trying to, like, attack the Vulture, and thanks to the homemade suit, that's where he gets to one of the most iconic scenes in Homecoming, where he's stuck on the Rock Rebel, and then he recreates the If This Be My Destiny comic, where, you know, the scene where he goes, come on, Spider-Man, come on, Spider-Man, and then literally just ripping off the Rock of his iconic theme song playing, dun, 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 dun. And then when he removes the Rock, like, there's literally a lot of, like, great aura pictures where he's posing in the homemade suit. And even during the scenes, like, even though you couldn't see that much when he's fighting the Vulture, I will say this, from the plane scenes to the Coney Island scene where Peter eventually just unmasks himself, very realistic by saying, yeah, I can't see through the eye goggles. But man, during the scene where he's trying to fight Vulture in that homemade suit with his red hoodie, bro, even though it's not really battle damage, but you definitely see how Tom Holland's Peter Parker's bleeding up, especially when he used that suit like over the fire. It feels like out of all the suits in the Homecoming movie, it definitely feels like I feel like that suit in that movie made him feel more like traditional Spider-Man than the Stark suit in Homecoming, which I mentioned about that in this review. But either way, I think we see the homemade suit again briefly in Far From Home during the Mysterio illusion scene. And funny enough, despite it was in the Mysterio illusion scene, he fought Mysterio in this only with just the homemade suit before he gets the red and black suit. So I find that very ironic, if I don't say. So anyway, if I had to do a ranking of Tom Holland's first homemade suit, I honestly would put this on an A tier if I had to make my personal opinion on it. So I would say A tier for Tom Holland suit. Like I said, not better than Disneyland's. Of course, Andrew Garfield too. Like Andrew Garfield's first suit is more authentic. Yeah, I think A tier definitely fits more for this version of Spidey. I think I can go on with the Homecoming suit for a second because I definitely got to refill my water because, you know, since I'm doing this quick live stream for y'all, just making sure I get things fast and forward for it. Yeah. I cannot speak! Oh, wait. Alright, we're already on the 1 hour mark. Like I said, I think the stream is going to be wrapped up much more quicker than I thought. But anyway, as I continue on, the Stark Homecoming suit, which, bear with me guys, before the Brand New Day suit even existed, this used to be my favorite Spider-Man suit before, no, let me specify this, my favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man suit in the MCU before Brand New Day, because I feel like out of all the MCU suits back then, before the Brand New Day suit just dethroned it for me, this one definitely feels the most comic booky suit for Tom Holland Spider-Man in the MCU because you can clearly tell from the black linings, from the small spider logo, the red and blue, but also from the black lenses. It definitely looks the most comic book Spidey coded, like very early Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, John Romita scenes. Like I said, if I have major complaints about the Homecoming suit, number one, I hate the fact that John Watts and the team behind the movies, most specifically in Homecoming, they over CGI the suit way too much, which thankfully they fixed that with the Brand New Day suit where it's not too much CGI. But I'm like, why would you make this version of Spider-Man look like he's a PlayStation 2 cutscene character? Even for like the most simplest scenes where he's trying to like web a guy in the car and be like, it's my car, dumbass. He looks CG once when he jumps over the car by saying, Marvel, why you have to do that? The suit actually looks really great on its own. And the second complaint I do have about the suit before I say everything good about it, yeah, unfortunately, even though I give credit for the homemade suit being made by Peter Parker, sadly, this suit is honestly made by Iron Man. It's like, dude, why would Iron Man be responsible for making Peter Parker's first real major Spider-Man suit? That kind of takes away where Toby and Andrew made their own Spider-Man suits, but Tom only made his own homemade suit when he was like 15, and then he got the Stark suit. But either way, the best thing about this suit, so aside from being too Iron Man intentional from the gadgets, to the AI voice, to the interrogation voice, I'm not the biggest fan of trying to make this Spider-Man suit because before the Brand New Day suit, I think this was the best looking Spider-Man MCU suit for Tom Holland, but the worst thing that doesn't age well is not just the CGI on the suit, it's the fact that they just Iron Man it too much, they Starkify the suit. But criticism aside, this is a really good looking suit because even though there are some lining, which I know some superhero suits have a habit of that, they did it with James Gunn's Superman, even Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy has a very lined suits when it comes to it. But either way, as for the Tom Holland Spider-Man suit, this was my favorite one because one, it's the most classic comic booky one, especially during the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man montage where they played the Blitzkrieg up. You know, this band, hey, oh, let's go, we're bobbing in the straight line band, and now the suit looks really amazing in those daytime scenes, including the nighttime scenes where he's trying to take down like the Avengers, well in this case bank robbers disguised as Avenger suits. The only thing I wish that we could have seen more of is this version of Spider-Man gets to face the Vulture in this suit, which we kind of did for a little bit when this version of Spider-Man is like chasing in the suit. Hey Cameron, it's a good thing you decided to came along to the chat because I'm about to make a short bit about the Homecoming. But yeah, the suit does look really good at night during the Homecoming scenes. Secondly, another thing I just want to point out is it looks pretty good at night, and I feel like out of all the Spider-Man logos, the back logo of the Homecoming suit definitely looks the most comic accurate one, which the later suits from Far From Homes, No Way Homes, and Brand New Days, they always alter the logo, while the back logo definitely looks the most Steve Ditko inspired base one for Tom Holland suits. Even though the black lining is like, you know, very different, just to like make sure it's like a homage to the Steve Ditko era. But once again, I feel like just like with Andrew Garfield suits, this suit definitely is trying its best to be not just only comic accurate, but once again, we want to make it different from Tobey and Andrew since this is a young version of Spidey. And thanks to this version of this suit, since it was debuted in Captain America Civil War and Homecoming, it gave up Spider-Man some emotive eyes, which obviously we've seen it in the animated TV shows, and then we see it later in the Insomniac video games. So I feel like this movie, or in this case, the Homecoming suit was kind of the blueprint to like have Spider-Man have some emotive eyes again, which that's really cool that we get to see that in live action like how we see in the comics. So yeah, I honestly think it's pretty cool. Like I said, my complaints about this suit is they CGI a bit too much. It's like, why? The suit looks so good on its own that you don't really have to over CGI where he looks like a PlayStation 2 cutscene character, which luckily they fixed that on Brand New Day. But, and yeah, like if you remove the Stark suit, like either way it is what it is. So far, I almost agree with this rank. I'm just not the big fan of the Task 2 suit, the Rainy Black suit, and the Turn Off the Dark outfit. Turn Off the Dark, like I said, my opinion on Turn Off the Dark, just to give you like a small recap, despite the mask rip off Tobey Maguire's face and the back logo just rehashes the front logo, I do like the painting and I do like the shading for eyes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I really like the Tom Holland suit, like how very expressive it is. So, I already said this before. I definitely think, I would say, like, as a comic book Spider-Man suit, it definitely looks better than Andrew Garfield's suit, in my opinion, but I almost want to put Tom Holland's Homecoming suit on S tier, but what bogs it down for me, at least, is the fact that they over CG the suit, and it's very Iron Man from the intentions and the fact that Tony made the suit, but in my personal opinion, before Brand New Day, this was the best looking MCU Spider-Man suit, in my personal opinion. That's how it is. So, yes, our next suit's going to be a quite controversial one, and boy, we're going to have some mixed opinions on the next suit. But before we get ready to literally go into the next shot, it is what it is. Though the Stark suit's an easy S tier in my book. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has the best back logo out of all the Spider-Man suits, because at least the back logo for the Homecoming Stark suit has the comic accurate, like, Steve Ditko, John Romita type of look, while all the other Spider logos, like, after the Stark Homecoming suit, they kind of alter the logo. So, yeah. But like I was saying, like, I almost want to put on S tier, but if they didn't over CG the suit, if they did not put much Iron Man intentions behind the suit, this could easily put him in S tier in my book, but we'll get to the Brand New Day skin, and then I'll be like, alright, this is why Brand New Day is like the best suit so far. But as for like the earlier MCU run, it was my favorite Spider-Man suit around that time, and I was kind of sad that Far From Home and No Way Home completely ditched his suit from Homecoming. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like from the Homecoming suit. But before we get to the controversial Iron Spider suits, I'm going to go refill my water because, you know, when I talk too long, I'm going to get dehydrated. But before I get to refill some water, we'll get to that. 1 hour, 6 minutes? Okay, not too shabby, guys. So if I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer. But anyway, Iron Spider. the Iron Spider running over fat kids in my van. Anyway, so let's just get that. Here's my recap. I'm Cliff Wave. Hey, that's pretty cool, bro. Anyway, hopefully I'm not gone for too long. So yeah, we've only ranked 2 of Tom Holland's suits. Alright guys, let's get to his most controversial one, which obviously, if you guys know Spider-Man fandom, people would say this is the worst MCU Spider-Man suit. Okay, here's my mixed relationship with the Iron Spider suit. So I'll say this, on first impression, specifically first impression when I saw it in theaters, from the ending of Homecoming and Avengers Infinity War. I was 15 when I first saw the suit in Homecoming, and then I was 16 watching Infinity War. So teenage me was like, oh my gosh, this suit is amazing! Oh my gosh, this is the Iron Spider suit! We finally got the Iron Spider suit in live action! I mean, it's not comic accurate, it's not red and glowed, but oh my gosh, guys, it's literally like the coolest thing ever that we're ever gonna see. So, for me, 15-year-old me, like 15, 16-year-old me kind of glazed the heck out of it. It's like when it I'm saying when it first came out, like during the Homecoming and Infinity War segment. I mean, in the context of Infinity War, it makes a lot of sense. Like, it's so funny that in the context of between Homecoming and Avengers Infinity War's continuity is, thank you, Mrs. Stark, I know you want me to be the next Iron Man, I want to be an Avenger, but I'm just going to be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And then, during an Infinity War, oh no, I definitely need to breathe. And then, literally, when the suit gets put on, Mrs. Stark, we have a new car here. And then the one thing I would give the suit credit, specifically in Avengers Infinity War, for 2 things. Number 1, we got the Iron Spider legs. Number 2, finally, it was like one way to put Spider-Man in an Avengers movie, because even way before Tom Holland was cast as Spider-Man, we were like, oh man, hopefully Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man gets to appear like in one of the Avengers movies. And then once when Tom Holland came to the picture, boom, we did not see the Iron Spider suit coming a mile away. I mean, I think some Marvel fans speculated because, you know, they're fighting up in space. And I will say this, for the suit as a whole, I say the suit looks better. Like, I would say the suit looks the best, the most in Avengers Infinity War, in my opinion. But we will talk about the other Iron Spider suit appearances in the MCU from Avengers Endgame, Far From Home, and No Way Home. But I think it looks the best, specifically in Avengers Infinity War. But anyway, let me read this comment real quick. And I'm like saying my other account, MCU. Yeah, because I have a feeling that you're one of those people that would put the S tier. I'm going to cry in the way if it gets put F for y'all. Here's a spoiler. I will not put it on F tier because I wouldn't say it's the worst MCU Spider-Man suit. I feel like the suit declined for me in the later movies, but either way, let me just see this. I'm the only one who likes this suit. I'm going to go sit in the corner, though. I will say I'm baffled on why it was still used in Far From Home and No Way Home. Like, for Infinity War and Endgame, I get it because, 1, you're in space, you're fighting with Iron Man, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Thanos, and yeah, thanks to the suit, we got one iconic moment of more magic with a kick, and then obviously, thanks to the suit, we got the iconic I don't feel so good meme. And obviously in Avengers Endgame, like, here's the thing, like, here's what I want to say, like, I'm not saying, I would say this is more of a cold take than a hot take. I feel like the Iron Man, or in this case the Iron Tech stuff, makes a lot more sense in this suit than the Homecoming Stark suit, because, look, even though the Stark suit looks so much, I'm saying like in terms of suits, the Stark Homecoming suit is a much better looking Spider-Man suit for Tom Holland, but I don't understand why Tony Stark has to like make so much Iron Man gadgets in the Stark suit. But for the Iron Spider suit, it makes a lot of sense because, number 1, it's comic accurate that Tony Stark gave Peter the Iron Spider suit. I'm like, but it's not comic accurate that he makes his own original red and blue suit by Tony. So for this one, it makes more sense for the MCU continuity, but also for the comic books when, you know, in the comics, Peter Parker joins Iron Man, then he reveals identity to the world, then he gets the Iron Spider suit. But speaking of which, yes, I do have the comic book Iron Spider in my tier list. It's like, bro, they did this for Avengers Infinity War, and like I saw the concept art for both Infinity War and No Way Home that they actually were considering to put the golden plats, like literally like this picture right here, the picture that I'm pointing at right now, they were supposed to make it comic accurate, and I'm like, why is that? Why they did not do that? Because look, even though, like we said, I think the Iron Spider suit looks its best in Infinity War, but then I feel like the look declines. I mean, Endgame, I understand that the Avengers building was destroyed, and I think it looks quite ugly in that setting of the piece. And then for Far From Home and No Way Home, we will talk about the inclusion of the suit in Far From Home and No Way Home. But as for Infinity War, I think it looks the best in Infinity War around the time. But I'm just still very disappointed that 2 times already that they made concept arts of the golden plates of the comic accurate Iron Spider for both Avengers Infinity War and Spider-Man No Way Home, and they decided not to do that because, in my opinion, it's like, look, I understand that you want to like be traditional with the red and blue colors, just like Homecoming, but at the same time, it would be cool to see gold. Like, the one thing that's very sad is, why would you put golden plats for the integrated Spider-Man suit in No Way Home, but not for the Iron Spider suit, which even though in the comics, that's what the Iron Spider suit is supposed to look like. So I feel like they decided to scrap that idea and save it for a later suit in No Way Home. So even though I was fine with the armor suit in Infinity War and Endgame, I mean, like I said, the setting was pretty bleak. It's definitely pretty bland. And I remember Spider-Man fans were like losing their minds by saying, wait, what? Spider-Man is killing people now? Where he's like, activate instant kill mode. And then literally takes down by saying like, but guys, those are just like space alien dogs. I mean, those are not human beings. It's not like Batman where he's like beating the crap out of people. It's like, dude, those are just space alien creatures. Sure, they may have emotions, but they're not the same thing about humans, man. Okay, thanks. That's on my... I'm just kidding. As for the comic accurate Iron Spider, I assume they did... I don't know the real explanation, but I'm just going to read this. I assume they didn't get to do that because they had to make some differences from Iron Man. I feel like they have the same mindset with the integrated suit for No Way Home, which we will get to that, which I feel like they took some of the Iron Spider stuff and put it into the integrated suits rather than just the mainline MCU one. But anyway, so as much as I say about the good stuff about the Iron Spider suits, oh my gosh, as much as I liked it back in the day, dude, why was this the most overused Spider-Man suit in the MCU, at least before, except for Civil War and Brand New Day, the Iron Spider suit was literally in almost every Spider-Man appearance. Like, for Homecoming, it was set up. Infinity War, I mean, like I said, I'll let it slide in Infinity War because he needed space, and the suit actually looks good in the Planet Titan around that movie. But then, in Endgame, Far From Home, and No Way Home, Far From Home definitely had the most pointless reason to, like, use the suit. I mean, this scene is not in Far From Home, like, not in the final cut, but it's literally just Peter trying to sell off his toy so he could buy the necklace for MJ when he goes to his European vacation, and then literally he faced off all the thugs with the Iron Spider suit. I mean, it was cool of how the way the arms like look when they're fighting the criminals, but I feel like he did not need the suit to take down those criminals. That's why the cops in that deleted scene was like, oh, you're gonna be the next Iron Man now? No, I'm just too busy doing your job. So I don't know, man. I mean, out of all, like, just like we complain like, oh, Tom Holland's Spider-Man suit doesn't, like, CGI does not look good, I feel like out of all the suits, this is definitely the most CG heavy looking one. I mean, it's an iron armor suit, so of course I'm not surprised for that. But still, this is definitely like the most PlayStation coded suit, like in the later movies. Like, it was fine in Infinity War, but it looks so PlayStation coded later ones. And here's my personal hot take. I think this specific MCU Iron Spider suit looks way better in the, like, it looks way better in the PlayStation games, more specifically the Insomniac PS4, PS5 Spider-Man games. I feel like that suit looks better in the games than it is in the movies, in my opinion, because at least for the Insomniac version of the MCU Iron Spider suit, because remember, guys, the first Insomniac Spider-Man game came out the same year when Avengers Infinity War came out, and I do think the suit looks good, because I actually played in that suit not too long ago for the Insomniac games, and I will say, like, the glow-in-the-dark, like, blue lighting, and even the Iron Spider in the games, in my opinion, it looks better in those games than the live-action movie translation. So now why they put it on No Way Home, it's now labeled as the No Way Home for damn sake. That's what I don't understand, because No Way Home was not the introduction to it. So anyway, just going back to Far From Home, aside from that one deleted scene, it was definitely the most pointless suit to use in the movie, because he only just wore it for a charity event by saying, well, I'm just honoring Iron Man because Iron Man's dead, he's now my father figure, and then he just went outside looking at an Iron Man graffiti art, and then he starts charging the suit for some reason. But then once when Peter wants to enjoy his European vacation, go to a date to that random emo girl that he knows in class, he did not use the suit at all. I mean, granted, for the first time, he did not have time to put on a proper suit, so that's why he couldn't get the Iron Spider one. But then when Nick Fury kissed the picture by saying, hey, yo, since you're not in New York anymore, we need to do an undercover trip, which we will talk about his Far From Home suit. So definitely it was pointless to use it Far From Home. I get why you use it in that movie just to honor Iron Man, but it is what it is. But now for No Way Home's iteration, yeah, I mean, like I said, as much as I complain about the rush CGI, definitely, I feel like the Iron Spider looks the most ugliest in No Way Home, and that's mainly because of the rush CGI. Like, it looks colorful in Infinity War, but it is what it is. If it was labeled as the Homecoming suit, I get it. Labeling as... Yeah, I'm saying, like, the Infinity War suit makes the most sense because that's literally... I mean, I know it was teased and debuted in Homecoming, but Avengers Infinity War embraces the Iron Spider suit. And yeah, thanks to this suit, I mean, I will talk about No Way Home, like, how the way it was used in No Way Home, but in Infinity War, I mean, like I said, 16-year-old me in the theater was getting all giddy where Tony Stark does, like, this all night by saying, alright, kid, you're an Avenger now, and then you got the Avengers theme. I know Peter in that scene was trying to, like, get all fanboys, like, get, like, into nerd fanboy territory, but he's like, you know what, I gotta stay still, I gotta be man, because, you know, I'm part of the big leagues now. But, you know, to me, when I was young, I was like, yay, Spider-Man's in the Avengers, that's awesome, woo. But yeah, it was only cool around the time. But as for No Way Home, I mean, even though, yeah, it was cool of how the way the Iron Spider was used to fight off Dr. Octopus, which is why, you know, Doc Ock is like, looks like we got competition seeing the spider legs and the octopus arms. It looked amazing on the No Way Home poster than the movie, for crying out loud. That's exactly what I'm saying. So you heard that the... No. Why would you... Okay, who would honestly believe that Nick Fury's MJ's father? That doesn't make any sense. So that means MJ did not have abusive parents, but her parents were all super spies? I don't believe in that theory. That makes no sense, y'all. Especially since that wasn't the real Nick Fury in Far From Home. It was just some random scroll, which I thought that was very stupid. But yeah, I mean, even though it was cool that the Iron Spider gets to fight Doc Ock with the spider legs and the octopus legs, and it helped the college lady in the car. And I will admit, on first viewing, I thought it was cringy, but I guess it was a slightly smart way to, like, use the Iron Spider technology, or in this case, the nanotechnology on Doc Ock's arms. But I did kind of cringe for a little bit, where, he tries to control Otto's arms to save the college lady. And then literally, what really caught me off guard in No Way Home, like I said, I feel like No Way Home, that's where the suit looks the most ugliest of them all. And I'm honestly glad that, literally in my mind, about No Way Home is like, dude, so you're telling me that when Otto removes a piece of the nanotechnology, he keeps, like, most of the Iron Spider suit, and then Doctor Strange decides to switch that up, and then switch the integrated suit. It kind of doesn't make sense when it comes to the continuity of things. So... here's my personal hot takes. Like, even though, yes, it's a shame that we would... because, like I said, No Way Home was the last time we'll ever get to see the Iron Spider suit. I mean, that being said, guys, it's not my favorite Spider-Man suit ever made. I'm not saying that. But I wouldn't call it... like, to me, if we're going to compare it to the other MCU Spider-Man suits, it's not the worst one, in my opinion. But I definitely agree that's definitely the most overused Spider-Man suit. Like, I'm definitely fine with the suit being used for, like, Avengers movies, but just not so much for his standalone Spider-Man movies, in my opinion. Like, he didn't need it for, like, his own solo-ish adventures. But if it's, like, big Avengers level threat, then yeah, put the suit on. But either way, I'm not going to put on F tier because, come on, at least the suit actually has style compared to, like, Andrew Garfield's Vigilante suit, and same goes for these Electric Company Universal ones. So if I had to do a ranking, I would put it on C tier. Like, honestly, C tier next to Japanese Spider-Man. So, I say C tier is fine. Like, it was fine for what it was in Infinity War and Endgame, but I won't call it like it's the best Spider-Man suit. But, once again, it's a shame that we'll never see the Golden Iron Spider suit in the light of day. So yeah, the best way to describe MCU Iron Spider: take the sensational outfit and the Spider Armor Mark IV and merge into one. That's why I love it. Personally, hell, even I admit I have some issues with it. But yeah, I can understand like why you would put the suit in S tier. But hey, safe ranking. C tier, like I said, just describe it, guys. C tier means it's okay, it's average, it's fine. D tier is just mid, disappointing. F tier is like horrible, just outplaying horrible. But yeah, that's all about the Iron Spider, like Iron Spider glaze and Iron Spider criticisms. Now we're on to the Far From Home suits, which yeah, to my surprise, it's only, yeah, I guess just like Homecoming, only has like 2 suits, which we'll get to the Night Monkey suit. So even though people would complain that Iron Spider was basically a suit to sell toys, I feel like Night Monkey, and we'll talk about Black and Gold later on, this was the suit I'm like, yeah, this is definitely more selling for the toys, basically. Let me see. Doc Ock's arms might be, the nanites might be a reference to the Ultimate Con, since the claws are nanotechnology. Thanks for not putting on F. I'm okay with C tier. Night Monkey is dog shit. Also, 1 point, MCU Iron Spider was going to look like the Unlimited suit. Speaking of Unlimited, yeah, I actually included Unlimited on the list because, yeah, I do have some nice things to say. The Night Monkey suit. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, just like, because at least the homemade spider suit at least tries to, like, take inspiration from the Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider suit by comparison, but they decided to put their own twist with it, with the goggles. I mean, the Night Monkey stealth suit, whatever you want to call it, you could they try to make it based on the noir Spider-Man suit, but look, here we are right now. We actually got a live-action Spider Noir as of right now, thanks to the Nicolas Cage TV show. But yeah, out of all the Tom Holland Spider-Man suits, this is definitely the most least Spider-Man one looking on. I mean, I would say this, the only cool thing about this suit is the eyes. Like, I like how the eyes detaches away and then it gets hooked up. I thought that was really cool, and I understand that's the whole point of the suit by saying like, hey Parker, we need you to go stealth. And even though I thought when I first saw the movie, I thought the Night Monkey suit was like, no, the Night Monkey name sounds cringy to me, but I'm like, well, to be fair, he does jump like a monkey. He does swing about by saying, hey, yo, Ned, what are you trying to say, bro? But anyway, joking aside, I guess just one way to just be like, yeah, this is just a European bootleg version of Spider-Man. This is not the real-life Spider-Man by saying. But part of me is like, why does Peter have to keep his Spider-Man identity secret in international European countries than just New York? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Night Monkey suit is just a poor man's noir suit. It's basically just a homeless man's poor noir suit. Like I said, the only spider-like adjacent with this suit is only just the eyes, and that's about it. So that's the only thing that's very disappointing. Like, here's the thing. Like, it was fine. It was used for the nighttime scene where Night Monkey and Mysterio were facing off the giant Scooby-Doo looking Molten Man in the Ferris wheel scene. Because obviously, yeah, in the comics, Spider-Man gets to fight Mysterio in a carnival setting, which is basically what it is. Yeah, it's just so bland, generic. I forgot like halfway through my original rating. Also, ain't Ned the monkey? He's not a monkey. He's an orangutan. Yeah, Ned's definitely more of the orangutan Jenga. I can't even say the species that King Louie is from This is the Jungle Book. So even though I do think the suit was cool at nighttime, but my similar complaint like Andrew Garfield's suit is like, the suit was not needed in the daytime setting. Like, even though his last time wearing the suit was during the Mysterio illusion scene that lead to one of the best scenes of Far From Home, is it doesn't look that much visibly presentable in the daytime settings. And secondly, despite he had the Night Monkey suit throughout the drone sequence, like, even though it's just Mysterio, he's just toying around with Peter's all of his suits, from the Stark suit, the homemade suits, and that was about it during the illusion scene. And then back to broad daylight, he gets hit by a subway train, and then literally I don't know what was the country, some Norwegian people decided to take the mask away. But yeah, I guess that mask is forever gone. Now they're being stolen by Europeans. So yeah, like I said, at least the Iron Spider suit, it may not be a perfect suit, but at least it actually has some style to it. This one, it just doesn't look like Spider-Man to me, aside from the eyes. Like, it's only just the eyes. So either way, easily just a D tier in my book. Like, at least I'll take these bootleg 70s suits over the Night Monkey suit any day. But as for big upgrades, just like say like, you know, the 2001 suit of the Vigilante suit is not that good, but then he got a much better upgrade. The Far From Home upgraded suit. First of all, it's really cool to see some black shadings of Spider-Man, because one, that kind of gives us like flashbacks of the early Steve Ditko comic issue. Like, yes, there were some blue lightings in the original comic book suit, but definitely has a lot more black color shadings, which I definitely see that was the inspiration. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, the white spider logo in the back, I don't know if it's real or not, but I feel like they sort of took inspiration from Insomniac Spider-Man, which I actually put that into the list. Yeah, as for the Far From Home outfits, I L-O-V-E love it. It's actually my second favorite live-action Spider-Man suit outfit. Like, wait, really? Ever? That's honestly quite interesting, because you're not the only one, because there's a lot of fans out there that says, I mean, after the Homecoming suit, some fans are like, yeah, this is much better than the Stark Homecoming suit, in my opinion, which I think 3C Film said this was his favorite MCU Spider-Man suit before the Brand New Day suit. But anyway, the red and black suit was pretty unique for what it is, because number one, yes, he got some Iron Man tech base, but at least there's no there's no interrogation, there's no spider drones, there's no AI voice in his head. I do like that the white spider logo in the back kind of reminds me of the Insomniac Spider-Man. Is definitely a lot more smaller. And even though, yes, I will say this, the Far From Home upgraded suit doesn't look as CG heavy compared to the Homecoming suit and in Homecoming. But I will say this, when he uses the suit like in the final battle with Mysterio, like when he's trying to get down like all the drones, and then when he uses web gliders, and then how the lasers look like in the drones, bro, the suit actually looks really good in that shot where in Far From Home, Peter's like, oh, this is not real, and then literally the drones and the blue shade were going around. I thought the suit looks pretty cool. And I feel like the coolest thing about like when Peter uses the suit in Far From Home is when he's running out of his webs, he tried to like use the best tactics from the Avengers. Like, when he tries to like grab that London Bridge Tower sign like Captain America, and then that machine that explodes, like holding it like Thor, where Peter actually uses his brains. And besides, when he's trying to take down Mysterio, like in the final battle, like the way that he poses of grabbing Mysterio in the mocap suit, he honestly looks very Spider-like in that scene, which I honestly thought that was really cool. I actually prefer Spider-Man Red and Black. Actually, I don't know if I do, though if you could tell, I like it a lot. But yeah, either way, the Red and Black suit, I mean, we sadly never see it that much from like earlier iterations from Tobey's and Andrews, so I will give props for Far From Home give us like a Red and Black suit. And besides, to give credit to this suit, it's actually the first Spider-Man suit that gave Tom Holland's Peter Parker a final swing. I mean, yes, in the Stark Homecoming suit, he swung for a little bit in the city in Avengers Infinity War, but Far From Home, he gets the web glided one, because I feel like for this one, they definitely like make some more upgrades on how the way the suit looks from its textures. So yeah, they changed the belt slightly, No Way Home. Yeah, I just noticed that in Far From Home, they put like a black lining into the belt, and then in No Way Home, they just completely removed that. I know that's just a small detail, but it doesn't really bother me that much. However, if I'm going to have complaints with this suit, is like, even though I do like the black shading, and even though it does not look too CG heavy compared to the Homecoming suit, but I will say this, my complaints about it is, sadly for No Way Home, I'm saying specifically for No Way Home, yes, it was used last in the beginning of where No Way Home starts off, where Far From Home left off. My biggest complaint is, like, sadly, we don't get to see the suit that much throughout the movie, except for two scenes. The beginning, obviously a Mysterio fanboy decided to put green paint on it, which is why it took a while for this version of Peter to clean up the suit. And then, it's going to lead to my criticisms of the black and gold suit, which I will give you a hint that's probably my least favorite MCU suit, but we'll talk about the black and gold later on. But it sucks that he only used the suit only in the beginning, and only the time where his suit is fully washed, thanks to Aunt May, where he fights Doctor Strange, and that's about it. And then he goes to the apartment with the suits, and then boom, that's how you got the integrated suit. I hope we get to see next time Tom in his pre-symbiote suit where he wears like a red and black logo, like black outfit with a back logo. Maybe. Probably happen like either in Avengers Secret Wars or probably in Spider-Man 5. We'll have to wait and see. But either way, kind of sucks that the last time we see is Doctor Strange, because I remember behind the scenes in No Way Home, Tom Holland basically wears the red and black suit throughout the entire like film production set when he's fighting Green Goblin, but then obviously CGI effect to put like the giant golden logo for the integrated suit. But it is what it is, which we will talk about the integrated suit later on, since we're going to go to the No Way Home era of Tom Holland suits. But yeah, other than that, so despite like the suit getting painted over for green paint for Mysterio, I like how the mask looks. I think there's like one funny viral video where it's not just Tom Holland's Zendaya posted. I think there's one video where Tom Holland's literally drinking like a Starbucks coffee through the straw, through the eyeball lenses, because, you know, every Spider-Man suit needs to have like a face show where the actors cannot like pull off the mask themselves, like they have to take some prosthetics off, and then literally bro has to drink like water or coffee, whatever, into the suit. I thought that was funny. But anyway, as for the red and black suit, in my personal opinion, even though, yes, firstly for me, I prefer the red and blue suit, but I definitely say the red and black, it definitely looks good for its like comic bookiness. I definitely say, to me, it's on par with the Homecoming suit. Like, I wouldn't say it's like high S tier compared to like the Raimi suit and the Taskmaster 2 suit, but I definitely say it's another A tier, just because I think it was like, before Brand New Day, it was probably like the second best looking Spider-Man suit until like the Brand New Day suit came to the way. But yeah, that's all for the red and black suits. And now, my real least favorite suit for Tom Holland's suit has got to be the black and gold suit. In my personal opinion, yes, Night Monkey definitely... No. So, Night Monkey's probably the weakest one. But I feel like black and gold's probably the most pointless one. Like at least Night Monkey had a purpose, like have a stealth suit during the Multi-Man sequence. But for black and gold, the reason why Peter has the black... Like, if I'm going to remove business and merchandise reasons, which I will get to that later on. But for the purpose of the black and gold suit, like, number one, the Iron Spider suit kind of got teared apart. Peter's red and black suit got covered with green Mysterio paint, so it takes a while for Peter to like wash and dry that suit, so that's why he couldn't use his red and black suit, so he had no other choice but to choose the Iron Spider when he was using it to face Doc Ock. But then when he needs the black and gold suit when it comes to like taking down, like he basically was trying to put on that suit to find Green Goblin, but instead it was only for Electro and Sandman. But at least for the black and gold suit, it's only used for like two scenes, like for the fight with Electro and Sandman, and then going to Feast to like catch Norman Osborn. But man, like, I get that the black and gold suit's technically called the Inside Out suit, since it was hinted since Homecoming, where Ned was trying to like hack into the Training Wheels protocol and the Homecoming suit and just go out like the Inside Out suit. But that being said, it's kind of pointless that Peter did not even need to use that black and gold suit that much, where he's trying to like rush the feast to make sure Aunt May is okay when Norman Osborn went to feast. But then after the black and gold suit, like literally when Peter and Norman Osborn were dropped back to Doctor Strange's house, literally his red and black suit was washed. So in my opinion, it's like, what was the point of the black and gold suit? It's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This suit just exists. It's like, for plot convenience, let's make a Doctor Strange taste to it. And not only just that, let me just get to the number one basic-ass response about the black and gold suit. Its only purpose to be made is to sell toys, merchandise, t-shirts, and cosplay suits. But around that time, let's not forget, the No Way Home merchandise was pretty crappy back then until we got what we wanted from Toby, Andrew, and the villains from Green Goblin, Doc Ock. But when it comes to the Spidey suits, they always use the integrated suit, the Far From Home suit, and the black and gold suit. And my goodness, y'all, the black and gold suit did not needed to be milked that much in the merchandise, because I can't picture any Spider-Man fan as right now by saying, yeah, this is my favorite Spider-Man suit just because it's black and gold. And to me, putting Tom Holland's Peter, like, wearing black suits kind of diminishes the purpose of the symbiote, which, yes, granted, I know Tom Holland will get the symbiote at some point, because, yeah, in Avengers Secret Wars, he'll get the symbiote suit, and then, as what me and many Spider-Man fans want, I think by Spider-Man 5, he can finally get the most comic-accurate black suit symbiote, since there was a concept art in No Way Home that, yes, Tom Holland will get the black suit symbiote, so then they're not going to copy Toby's black suit, where basically on that behalf it's going to be like, yeah, let's just copy and paste the symbiote, but let's make it with Tom Holland's webbing. So I feel like the black and gold kind of like diminishes the opportunity for like symbiote Spidey, but we're still going to get symbiote Spider-Man down the line. But yeah, let me see. The concept of black gold is cool. It's just like an inverted outfit. I wish it was more like that, but that being said, it just exists. So personally for me, it's honestly up there with I wouldn't say it's not as bland. I wouldn't say this. It's not as like it still looks like Spider-Man at the end of the day, but I just feel like this one looks a bit generic. Like, I will say this. It definitely has like more webbing lines in the Night Monkey suit, but either way, I would say like these two are like easily like if I had to say both the black and gold suit, but also the Night Monkey suit, there easily were, one, to sell toys and cosplays to inspire cosplayers with their outfits, and thirdly, they're just not Spidey suits are just worth for like seeing again and again. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about black and gold. As for the integrated suit, aka the real final of the the final Iron Man, Doctor Strange, like basically MCU-ified Spider-Man suits. If it was an actual suit, it would be fine, but once again, I just feel like the black and gold suit was pointless later in the movie, because I'm like, well, if his red and black suit is washed again when he fought Doctor Strange and brought the villains back, then what's the point of having a new suit? Oh yeah, for merchandise sake, because why not? But as for the integrated suit, even though it's just like a recolored version of the red and black suit from Far From Home, but the major difference is like a giant golden iron spider, and I feel like I said before, if you look at the comic book Iron Spider, I feel like that was the intention. It's like, oh shoot, we already used the MCU Iron Spider multiple times. What can we do to like have our own Iron Spider logo? I feel like the integrated suit is basically like the closest thing you're ever going to get to the giant Iron Spider logo on it. But I will say this, before I talk about the suit itself, I like the intention behind it, even though, yes, Tom wore the exact same upgraded Far From Home suit throughout on set in No Way Home. But what I like about the intention, like even though Otto Octavius was like the first villain that Tom Holland's Peter cured in No Way Home, I like that we originally had the suit, like literally Otto Octavius used the Iron Spider tech, nanotechnology, and gifted the Tom Holland's Peter, which, you know, it kind of pays a homage to what Otto Octavius said in Spider-Man 2. Intelligence is not a privilege, it's a gift, and you use it for the good for mankind. And then, when he used that gift for Peter's intelligence of, like, curing Otto Octavius, bada bing, bada boom, it gets healed, and after that, that became the mainline suit where Tom Holland's Peter gets to face Green Goblin and the other three villains when the final act of the movie. Funny story, I originally hated the integrated suit because, going based on the concept art, but in the movie, I liked it. It's not that bad. Like, I will say this, I do like it more than the Iron Spider suit, if I'm being honest, because at least you have that Far From Home touch to the suit, and then you got the golden logo, and pretty much since, you know, Tom's Peter was obviously going to share the screen with Toby and Andrew, but personally around that time, it's like, yeah, they want to make this version of Spider-Man look different compared to Toby and Andrew. For me, I think the Far From Home suit was enough to like be distinctly different for Toby and Andrew for the final act. But you know, just to make, since Tom Peter is the only Spider-Man that had a lot of Marvel tech, from Iron Man to Nick Fury to Doctor Strange, from the tech of all the Marvel characters. Though here's a good question: how did it change to none of the chest parts of the upgrade suits? That's what I don't understand. So you're telling me that when Otto brings back the nanotech on the logo, but then it doesn't change too much on the red and black lines. It's only just like the shoulders and the chest area, and that's about it. My only criticism with one of my biggest criticism with this suit is we don't get to see that much battle damage with the suit. And even though as awesome as that, like, 2 of the Green Goblin fights were like easily the best action scenes in No Way Home, where Green Goblin took down Tom Peter from one floor to another, then boom, all the way till he chokes Peter to death, man. Even though, yes, Peter was bruised and bleeding in those fights, we never get to see that much scratches and tear apart. Like, I remember during a No Way Home press tour, I think Tom Holland said that he wished that his suits were more battle damage, like Tobey Maguire. And I feel like, even watching Brand New Day, I'm like, yeah, we still don't have a battle damage Tom Holland suit. Like, his face is bruised up, but not exactly. Yeah, I would say it's B tier in my book. Why is it called the hybrid suit in the games? I honestly don't know, because obviously it's called like the integrated suit, but I don't know, man. I feel like they just call it hybrid by saying, well, it's half Far From Home, it's half Iron Spider. I think that's like the most valid name to say about it. So, yeah, I think, no, not this suit, my bad. That's not the suit I'm trying to get. Yeah, I feel like the integrated suit easily belongs in B tier in my book. I definitely would place it up there next to the Turn Off the Dark suit. So yeah, that's honestly my personal hot take on the integrated suit. I do think the integrated suit is better than the MCU Iron Spider suit, because at least the integrated suit was like a one and done deal. It wasn't like overused throughout the entire movie, and the purpose it had for the Otto Octavius. And once again, they used the Iron Spider golden logo from the comics, while the MCU live action version didn't. But anyway, this is going to be the very shortest one to talk about for Tom Holland suits. Okay, I know what most of you guys are going to say. Well, wait, isn't this the same suit for Brand New Day? Kinda, but not really. I mean, yes, this was the blueprint to like make the Brand New Day suit more flashy, more fluid, definitely look a lot more lean. But for the No Way Home suit, we'll make it short and quick for this one. So, yes, definitely for sure, this suit definitely was inspired by Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and pretty much just like the Homemade suit and the Far From Home suit. Okay, hot take, I hate the Final Swing suit, not the Brand New Day suit. So either way, the No Way Home suit, clearly you could tell it's fully CGI throughout the Final Swing. My least favorite thing about the No Way Home Final Swing is they made the blue very like shiny and bright by saying like, look, I get it. It was taking place during Christmas. No Way Home was released during Christmas time, but I was not the biggest fan of making the suit like very shiny and making it like too bright and colorful. So I wasn't like the biggest fan of it. I mean, even though yes, Insomniac's Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 5 embrace more of that suit, but even though in that game they call this suit the Final Swing suit, and then the Brand New Day suit they just name it completely something else. So basically, in other words, this is not the definitive new final suit for Tom Holland. This is just like this kind of feels like a small prototype of saying, well, yeah, Tom Peter's all alone. We want to see him to make a classic traditional suit, and it's a final of his home trilogy ending. He's finally become Spider-Man, because basically the suit's kind of like a metaphor of like, yeah, Tom Holland Spider-Man needs to wear multiple commercialized corporate suits and be like, yeah, the home trilogy was Tom Holland's origin story the entire time. I do like the eyes, I do like the logo, which I will talk more about it in the Brand New Day suit, but I just don't like the blue. Like, the blue is definitely like a lot too bright, a lot too shiny in a way, so if I had to do a ranking, I would honestly put it on B tier, like, in that sense. Like, I won't put it as low as the Iron Spider or basically the Universal scenes, but it is what it is. But like I said, it was only, like, shown at the very end, so I got a lot to say for it. It's orange, the logo's gold. I hate how shiny the blue is. Yeah, not a fan of the new logo. Also, my other thing, how could this suit get away being CGI, but the Iron Spider can't? That's what I don't understand. Like, for Iron Spider, I kind of get it because, you know, it's armor, it's in space, yada, 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 but why was Marvel and Sony, or in this case the crew behind No Way Home, so lazy to like give Tom Holland's Final Swing suit like fully CGI, like in the Final Swing? That's why I don't understand. So either way, that's all I got to say about the suit for. Actually, I'm just gonna put on C tier just because. No, B tier. Yeah, I think B tier will definitely be a lot more fun because it's not in the same vein as the Iron Spider suit or the Japanese Spider-Man. But as for the conclusion of the Tom Holland suits, and then the real final live-action Spider-Man suit will be Spider Noir in that sense. But as for the brand new day suit, so I know there's going to be people that will agree or disagree in the chat. By far, this is the best Tom Holland Spider-Man suit ever. Because, number one, even though, yes, there are some shots where it's CG, but at least Destin Daniel Cretton and his crew behind Brand New Day, the suit doesn't look like it's a PlayStation 2 character compared to the Homecoming suit, which is why I would wish and I would have loved to rank Homecoming suit above S tier, but I feel like over CGing like the Homecoming suit kind of like bogs it down for me, which is why I put on A tier. But as for the Brand New Day suit, dude, like even without the CGI, this is definitely like the most comic book looking, it's the most authentic, especially when he's just casually sitting down on a chair with that suit by saying, dude, that is so Spidey coded right there. Secondly, that kind of reminds me of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, where he's like casually just standing around, sitting around with Harry Osborn. Everybody wants my money, I don't. And also, it's kind of much like in the comics where Spidey just casually sits down, and I like that the Brand New Day suit, he kind of like take inspiration from Andrew Garfield, where Andrew puts on a suit when he's sick, and then he puts on like snow outfits when he's fighting Scorpion. And I see that the best thing about this suit, there's so much expression in the eyes, and not only just the eyes, like, dude, you can literally see Peter Parker's eyes through the suit and out of the suit. And I feel like what Destin Daniel Cretton did, that is such a unique detail. I mean, it's kind of similar, like you see Tony Stark's face in the Iron Man armors, and then we get to see what Peter's with the eye shot. That's such a new thing that we still see about Brand New Day. I enjoy the Brand New Day suits. It's an S tier, and that Brand New Day suit needs a zip-up hoodie. Yeah, I definitely... Actually, there is zip-up hoodies in Hot Topic, but they just get sold out really fast, so they do exist. They're just really, like, hard to find. The Brand New Day suit's cool. I still don't like the logo. I don't like how it doesn't have the classic. Okay, that I will agree with. I mean, if there's one thing that the Homecoming suit does better, at least the Homecoming suit actually gave us the iconic classic back logo. Like the Brand New Day logo in the back has to be more in line. Because I get it, because Tom Holland already mentions in interviews that his version of Peter is clearly inspired by Tobey and Andrew's Spider-Man suits, and Tom Holland said that his favorite Spider-Man suit that's not his own is Andrew Garfield's suit, and I can definitely tell when Spidey is having body language and having like big arguments with Punisher by saying, "Frank, do not kill her!" Like literally when Tom is trying to email the suit, like I can tell he's trying to channel Andrew Garfield's suit for that. Though that's a problem I have, and the Amazing Spider-Man suit kind of look the same. I mean, the major difference is the Andrew's Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit has longer legs. That's the major difference. And for Tom's suit, because the one thing is, in my personal opinion, I thought no live-action Spider-Man suit's ever going to dethrone Andrew Garfield's suit, but in my personal opinion, the Brand New Day suit easily dethrones the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. Like, as much as I like that suit, this one is the most Spidey-coded suit, especially with the eyes and the way that it lenses. And like I said, the best thing about this suit is, like, close-up shot of Peter's eyes in the suit and out the suit, including the scene where Hulk was about to, you know, smash and crush Bugman, squill Bugman, smush Bugman. Literally when Peter's trying to emote to Bruce in the Hulk's mind, he's like, "Bruce, I'm your friend. It's me, Peter." And then literally just Hulk just having calmed down. One, it's kind of like a nice comic book nod where, you know, Hulk knows Spider-Man is Peter, but not Bruce Banner. I kind of like that nod. But like I said, I feel like the eye lens are so cool. My complaints about the suit is, it so sucks that there was like a Funko Pop of like, no. It was the final swing suit that gets tear apart in a Funko Pop, but the Brand Day suit never gets like a battle damage. I mean, like I said before, during the scene where Tom Holland's Peter's fighting the Hand Ninja, even though it leads to one of the best scenes of the movie. Actually, it is my favorite scene in the movie of the, who are you? Are you Peter Parker or are you Spider-Man? And then we goes on both. Dude, like, fighting unmasked with all the Hand Ninjas, going like complete Marvel rivals of taking all the webs down and then literally just taking it down. Dude, when he lands, like, I will say this, the best thing about this Spider-Man suit, like, the way that he poses and the way that he lands from, you know, hold on, I'm about to recreate it real quick, like, doing this or doing that, like, literally just doing, like, all these poses, like, very agile, or even during the times where, when he's trying to get to the damage control building, he's trying to, like, crawl up the walls and try to realize what is the giant destruction. Dude, the suit looks so cool, especially when he's trying to, like, remove the tank. Like, I will be honest with you guys, I mean, literally when we see the suit web swinging up in the sky, like, very Amazing Spider-Man, very Insomniac, dude, the way that he jumps to the car and takes to the tank, and the way that he articulates his web shooters, it is 100% Insomniac Spider-Man coded, and I love it for it. And the best thing about the suit, it's so authentic that Tom Holland feels a lot more comfortable in the suit. It makes him a lot more heroic in it. I mean, like I said, my complaints is I wish we could have seen this suit battle damage just like we did with Tobey Maguire's. Like, I will say this, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit is literally, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit is like the embodiment and the epitome of the battle damage suit, and I would like to see it for more. And another great thing I will say about the Brand New Day suit, at least thanks to Brand New Day, is the one and only suit that Tom Holland's Peter wears the entire movie. He doesn't switch to another one. No Iron Man tech suit, no Punisher, Hulk, Yelena suit, no big potato, small potato suit, if you know what I mean. He still keeps with the suit the entire time from beginning to end. So I'm going to say this. He's definitely, like, I'll say this. Let Tom Holland's Spider-Man keep the suit for a while, but I know Marvel being Marvel, it's not just Spider-Man. Every Marvel character needs to have a new suit and a new look for each Marvel movie. I mean, that's how it goes in the Marvel Universe, so don't get attached with the exact same suit if it's going to be like that. But that being said, give Brand New Day credit, give Destin and the team credit for letting the suit being the only suit in the movie until Avengers, I don't know, Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, might switch up the suit, and then this version of Spider-Man will get the black suit. Before I get to my ranking, which obviously you guys can take a guess what is my ranking, where's the potato suit? The small potato suit? Yeah, that doesn't count because bro is only wearing his briefs and his big old Spider-Man toes. I like that he keeps the mask on. Exactly, bro. Though that suit is gone, they cut it up. Yeah, I believe so. Imagine he fights the... Dude, he actually did fight the mask, like, against the hand. He did for, like, the first half, but we're talking, like, in the final act, because obviously when it comes to the bleeding. But either way, when it comes to this suit, bro, like I said, it's definitely, like, the eyes, very John Romita, very Steve Ditko, and like I said, the body language when Peter web swings, especially during the time where his eyes looks a lot more angry when he takes down Scorpion, like, going, "Who are you?" It's like, dude, it's really amazing. I mean, like I said, I don't have too much to say, so I will say this, it easily dethrones the Andrew Garfield suit, in my opinion. I'm gonna be super biased. I mean, yeah, the Tobey Maguire suit, I mean, like I said, if I remove the nostalgia of Tobey and Andrew, I think Tom definitely has, like, the most comic book accurate Spider-Man suit. Like, minus the logo. And yeah, I can't forget, the web shooters, I will admit, I forgot to talk about the web shooters. The web shooters are quite bulky, but I like that later in the movie is like, hey, you're about to get some organic webbing right now. It's a spider puberty thing. Remove that. So that means Tom Holland's Peter doesn't get web shooters anymore, and now he has organic webbing. So I feel like, okay, hear me out, guys. If Tom Holland's Spider-Man meets Tobey Maguire in Secret Wars, he's like, hey, yo, Peter too, guess what I got? Now I understand where all the webbing comes from, and now I have cold control base. So I was like, now he doesn't know it doesn't come out from the holes, because obviously when Tom Holland was trying to experience the organic webbing, and guys, now I realize, Tobey and Tom Holland are the only two live-action Spider-Man that has organic webbing. Andrew Garfield is the only Spider-Man in live action that still uses mechanical web shooters. So, not only Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man hasn't fought an alien, I feel like the alien will... Andrew Garfield fighting an alien, I think that will pay off in Avengers Secret Wars, in my prediction. And secondly, yeah, Andrew's now the only Spider-Man that gets the worst of luck. The only Spider that needs web shooters, while Tobey and Tom, they don't need web shooters anymore. But yeah, easily, we're done with the Tom Holland suits. But now, our final live-action suit is the Nicolas Cage Spider-Noir suit. The Spider-Noir suit exists. So, I'm not going to spoil too much of the show because I'm talking about the design, which obviously, yes, Nicolas Cage voiced the character in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I heard that he's going to voice the character again in the upcoming Beyond the Spider-Verse. But as for the Spider-Noir TV show's live-action design, I do like the fedora, and I think that kind of makes like this Spider-Noir very unique, even though in the comics he doesn't even wear a fedora that much, but I guess it gives Nicolas Cage's identity like one way or another. Okay, never been a fan of giving him the trench coat and the hat. I'm fine with the hat, but the one thing I honestly don't like about the trench coat, even though it tries to be like this very detective type of thing, I feel like the trench coat kind of limits the look of the suit, in my personal opinion, of how the way that it tries to articulate how the way it moves. I feel like putting on the trench coat kind of limits it. Like, if it would have took inspiration from the Shattered Dimension Spider-Noir suit, like, obviously in that game, you have the spider logo, like, in the back behind of his shoulders and the back of his neck. I wish we could have had that. So the trench coat kind of limits the suit's design. But I feel like the biggest takeaway of the suit, the best thing about this suit is easily the eyes. The way it detracts, where he put the lenses on, and Nicolas Cage being super unhinged itself by saying, like, yeah, I'm just going to put the lens front of the match or something. That's right, I'm going to be the private detective investigator Spider-Man. Where can I find the national treasure? Yeah, freaking Ghost Rider in a Spider variant suit. However, I'm not going to spoil the TV show that much for those that don't like it, but in a way, the one thing that's honestly pretty hilarious that this version of Spider-Man actually has a battle damage mask, not suit, but mask, where you easily see Nicolas Cage's face of like one spider eye and then showing his mouth, kind of like Toby had his one mask, like his one eye is on the left and he shows his actual eye, kind of like the Spider-Man 3 damage suit from how it looks like. That's what I gotta see. And Andrew's gonna be like, damn it, I don't get to fight anything. I don't get to fight aliens. I didn't get to see like organic webbing. I don't get to be in a band. I don't get to have a trilogy. I feel like, yeah, Andrew Garfield's like treated so dirty. Like, yeah, not even my boy. Like Toby, like let's not forget, guys. Toby got the black suit. Tom will get the black suit someday in the future. Like Tom will easily get an Avengers Secret Wars, but not Andrew Garfield, bro. I mean, not gonna lie, if they did not cancel the Amazing Spider-Man 3, I feel like Andrew Garfield looks so sick in the black suit, even if it's just gonna be a repainted version of his suit like fans would have predicted. Anyway, back to the Spider Noir suit. So I feel like the trench coat limits the possibilities of what the suit could look like. The boots are nice. Like I said, the biggest takeaway are easily the goggles in my book. I think the goggles definitely looks good, even though it is kind of weird that, even though I do like the fedora like addition to it, but I do feel like it's kind of unrealistic wherever he's web swinging like, I'm from a different universe, and then you're telling me that the hat never falls off whenever he web swings. Bro, it just doesn't make sense. But anyway, not to talk about Spider Noir too much, because now we're going to get to the Spider-Verse era of the suits. I think I'm just going to put Spider Noir on B tier. Yeah, I'll just put it on B tier as an adaptation. But as for the Peter B. Parker suit, which I know what you guys are going to say, well, yeah, but there's two iterations of the Spider-Man suit in Spider-Verse. But yeah, pretty much they're the same, except one is a blonde Peter Parker, and one is, a fat, middle-aged, depressed Spider-Man. But yeah, I do really love the suit very much because, number one, the eyes are so expressive. I feel like the eyes in the Spider-Verse movies, especially in the first movie, it's definitely the most expressive Spider-Man eyes compared to Tom Holland's movies by comparison. And thanks to the Chris Pine's voice, like in the beginning with the opening narration of how the eyes look, like it definitely gives you the vibes of 60s Spider-Man whenever his eyes squint a lot. And also, this suit is so fun to play in the PlayStation Insomniac games, man. Like the way that you get to do the eye emotions in the way. And then Secret Wars, Andrew's like, I don't want to fight Alien anymore. Yeah, depending if it's going to be a Venom symbiote, a Thanos, or whatever alien creature in the Marvel Universe is going to be like, it is what it is, bro. But yeah, the Into the Spider-Verse suit, my complaint about it in Across Spider-Verse is like, so you're telling me that he kept the mask on throughout the first movie, but he had the suit on, but then he takes off the gloves and the shoes and the mask for the second movie just because he becomes a dad. And for anybody who watched the recent Beyond the Spider-Verse leaked trailer, he has the full suit on. I think, okay, this is not really a big spoiler for Beyond the Spider-Verse because this leaked trailer is the exact same trailer from CinemaCon April. You literally see Peter B. wearing the exact same suit from the first movie, bringing his baby daughter into battle, bringing it into Spider-Man by saying, Ham, hold my baby. And then he's like, thanks, but I'm all out of milk. Get it? Because he's an animal. Gotta suck the udder, am I right? But yeah, as for the suit itself, dude, I love how the way that it looks in the movie. Very red, very blue. Like, once again, definitely like it's red from the comics. Like, from the, I would say more specifically, the 80s run of Spider-Man. That's what it's kind of reminding me of. Like, the 80s run, while the 90s era kind of like modifies to make it more zip-zappy, a little bit more glossy to the looks, but make it much more neon in the 90s. Definitely like more of the 80s look. It is red from the comics. Hell, I think this looks better than the Brandon Day suit, maybe the Raimi suit. I mean, yeah, I will say, I wouldn't complain about it because at least this suit tries its best to be a lot more traditional, and thanks to this version of Spider-Man, no matter if it's Chris Pine, blonde Peter Parker, or the Jake Johnson Peter B. Parker, bro, this version of Spider-Man does the dance scene. Including, I do like how the suit looks, even when he's wearing like his homeless sweatpants. And hold on, I think I got an action figure of him real second, so hold on, there you go, right here. Literally, it's kind of funny that they kept the suit on, like, bro literally kept the suit on, but then he has like the gray sweatpants. And okay, guys, just like I joked about like Tobey Maguire's Human Spider suit is such an easy Spidey suit for anybody to cosplay in that suit, I feel like this suit is also a very easy suit to cosplay, just put on some gray sweatpants, go barefooted, or wear some homeless shoes, put some cheap-ass Amazon Spider-Man costume, put a mask on, and there you go. It's an easy cosplay. And the best thing is, if it's a cheap Spider-Man costume, you can easily shoot your own web shooters out of your pee-pee hole and actually properly pee out of that suit, which I feel like that was a struggle that Tom, Toby, and Andrew had in their suits. So either way, I just think the suit looks really cool, like, in the movie. And especially when he puts on, like, the sweat homeless suit. Like, not only the shoes, but even putting on the homeless jacket, I honestly thought was pretty funny, especially when every single character from Miles, female Doc Ock, and Aunt May makes fun of his weight by saying, like, oh, why do you look different? I'm pretty sure you just call me fat. And then Olivia Octavius points out the guts, and then Aunt May just calls him out as well. But yeah, the suit even looks very cool in the final battle next to Gwen. Yeah, I like when he's eating burgers, which predict that the Spider-Man Whopper and Burger King. I feel like that's where Sony took inspiration, and then there was literally a Spider Burger in one scene across the Spider-Verse. But man, the suit honestly looks good. I'm putting that I'm putting that Skin Toe Sauce for cosplaying that and showing my feet in public. Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta take that away from Dan Schneider. But either way, this is an easy suit to do a Spider-Man cosplay aside from the Tobey Maguire Human Spider suit. So if I had to do like a ranking, which once again, my biggest disappointment with Across Spider-Verse is Peter B did not put on the mask on, because I get it, he was being a dad. But I'm glad that from the leaked trailer and Beyond the Spider-Verse, he's easily going to put on the suit again. So easily Peter B, my GOAT, aka my favorite character from the first movie. You definitely belong in S tier. And even though we are going to see more of the suit in Beyond the Spider-Verse, I'm hoping Peter B gets more screen time, because I was really disappointed that my favorite character from the first movie did not get that much screen time in the second one. So I feel like Beyond, I mean, like I said, I like Across Spider-Verse, but I feel like Beyond might be slightly better. But better than the first movie, it's debatable. But before I get to Miles, let me put this Peter B away, and then we get to the Miles Morales section, and then we get to, okay, I will be brutally honest, guys, and I decided to, like, not rank every Insomniac suit. I just took out the ones that has, like, a very big narrative purpose in the stories that they put, because there's like dozens of other suits I could be missing or missing out on. But anyway, let me just put on Sweatpants Peter P away, and then we can talk about the Miles Morales suits from the animated movies and the video games, and then the list goes on and on. Spidey bells, swinging through my town. Oh, what fun to sling away to take the bad guys down. And yeah, the best thing about that suit, we get to see Santa Claus Spidey suit playing the tambourine. And wow, 2 hours of this live stream. Like I said, guys, I think this might be one of my most shortest live streams for the tier list, because usually my tier list streams are like 5 or 6 hours long. So either way, I think this might be one of the most shortest tier list streams. But hey, it's fine by me. And before I ramble about the Spider-Man suits, like I said, by next weekend, I don't know which day I'll do it next weekend, but my final Spider-Man live stream of August 2026 would be, yeah, the villains. We'll rank the movie villains. But let me just catch up to the chat. Spidey bells, Vulture laid... Okay, Spidey bells, Vulture laid an egg, Spidey buggy blew a tire, Venom got away. Yeah, that song, it was stuck in my head when that first movie came out during Christmas. I actually like the store-bought suit a lot. Okay, the Miles Morales store-bought suit. Number one, Stan Lee himself was the one that gave the suit to the store-bought for Miles Morales. Secondly, we actually see a little bit of the store-bought suit in Across the Spider-Verse when Miles was glitching in the train scene. You get to see that same suit that Stan Lee gave to him. And even though, yeah, Homecoming was the last live-action cameo with Stan Lee, but I will say this, Stan Lee's real final cameo in Into the Spider-Verse was definitely the most It was definitely the most heartfelt one in, you know, after when Stan Lee passed away, sadly, on my 17th birthday. Literally gives Miles Morales the same suit, but it's like, I'm gonna miss him. We were friends, you know. And then Miles like, how do you know it fits? It always fits eventually. But yeah, for the villains, are you including? Yes, I will be including the Brandon Day montage. So before I talk about the Miles suit, just to recap for the villains, this will only be movie villains. If I do every single villain variant from TV shows, video games, and comics, it will be a super long list. I'd rather only stick with the movies. And besides, when I went in depth with the Spider-Man fandom, and the reason why I'm doing these streams because, yes, I'm seeing people doing rankings of Spider-Man movies, suits, and villains. I'm like, yeah, I think it would be fun to talk about the villains. I feel like the villain live stream will be the best way to conclude the Spider-Man era, specifically the 2026 Spider-Man era of August of this channel, and then we can fully move on to Sonic stuff, since there's clearly a lot of Sonic rumors in recent times. But I want to wrap up the Spider-Man stuff. But yeah, I will include the Brand New Day villains, because yeah, the villain montage villain, Scorpion, and yes, Jean Grey, which we'll talk about that for next week's stream. But yeah, I remember in the Ultimate Comics, Genki gives Miles the Spider-Man Halloween costume after Peter's death. Yeah, that is very true. I feel like that was kind of their homage to it, because when they make Into the Spider-Verse, which the GOATs themselves, the comedy geniuses themselves, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the writers and the producers of the Spider-Verse movies, said that if we're going to make an animated Spider-Man movie, we want to make it based on Miles, because we already had urges of Peter in our lifetime. But what I do like about the Halloween store-bought suit, because number one, we get what the guys were trying to like make this inspiration. This is clearly inspired by Halloween. Does Miguel from Across Spider-Verse count as a villain? I believe so, because look, even though Miguel's not a bad guy, but to be fair, Miguel in that movie was kind of a dickhead. He was kind of an antagonist in that movie, where basically he pretty much did some harsh things. So I honestly would include Miguel on the list, because even though he's not a villain, I mean, just like with Jean Grey, like sure, Jean Grey may not be a villain, but Jean Grey did some antagonistic things to Tom Holland's Peter and Brand New Day, and Miguel kind of did the same thing to Miles in Across Spider-Verse, so I will include him too. So yeah, I'll say this, for the villains list, I'm definitely going to exclude, I know you're not going to like this, Cameron, I'm not going to include the Sony spin-off villains like Riot, Carnage, Kraven, all those guys, because even though, yes, they are Spider-Man villains generally, but they never fought a Spider-Man in their movies. It's only the 9 live-action movies and the animated movies, and that's about it. So it'll be like a speed run for the villains. But anyway, back on topic with the suit. So, yes, this is basically a parody of all of the homemade Halloween Spider-Man costumes. I mean, heck, even my first Spider-Man costume when I was like 10 years old, it's literally a Halloween costume that's sort of like, you know, with the poking eyes and the nose holes. They still make these Halloween costumes to this day for many kids, to even grown adults as a whole. And besides, I like that Insomniac Spider-Man 2 puts it in the cave, and that brings in the running joke of totally disrespectful. Spider-Man doesn't wear a cape, but then when Miles and Peter B went to the Spider Cave, it's like, oh, there is a Spider-Man that wears the cape. And since this was the Halloween costume that gave, Stan Lee was the one that gave it to Miles in the movie, and the fact that inspired to Miles like make his own suit, since, you know, he had his passion for art graffiti paints, that's fine. I was just in a curious way. Plus, I want to rant about Carnage again. Yeah, but like I said, that version of Carnage did not face a Spider-Man. He was more... That Carnage is more of a Venom villain than a Spider-Man villain, if that makes sense to you. Like, in terms of the movie, he was more of Venom's enemy than a Spider-Man villain. So that's why I'm just considering that. Miguel even roasted Tom Holland's Peter, calling him a nerd. Oh yeah, the nerd from Earth 19999. But anyway, just to not get carried away, the Miles suit's pretty cool for what it is. I would say B tier. Yeah, hold on. B tier definitely fits it for where it belongs. But now for his first mainline suit. Like, even though, yes, this is very different from his comic counterpart, which I will talk more about it in the Insomniac Miles Morales, which is trying his best to be comic accurate. So, I feel like between Miles' first mainline suit, I don't know if Miles is going to get a brand new suit beyond the Spider-Verse. I think they're going to keep the exact same suit from Across, which I will talk about bleeding armpit Miles, which I will talk about that in the second suit. And between the first suit and the second suit, I honestly prefer his first suit a lot more, and that's mainly because even though it is a repaint of the mainline red and blue suit from the Spider-Verse 1 movie, but I like that this one brings this version of Miles give his own identity with his own Spider suit, because one, I mean, hello, the art graffiti paint, the spray paint that he did in the beginning of the movie, and thanks to the spray paint, that's how he got the Spider Bite, where he goes, oh, Spider Bite? Forget it, because you expect them to freak him out. But either way, I do like this suit more than the second one, mainly because you get to see more of, like, the webbing. And I feel like the logo, it's different from the comic book, but you definitely have this giant logo, a little bit more of the red. And yeah, you still get a little bit more of that red fingers as a whole. And like I said, similar like Peter B, you get to see a lot more range of emotions. And even though, sadly, the only sad thing is, literally, we don't get to see the suit that much. Like, this suit definitely shines the most throughout the last 10 to 15 minutes of the movie, where he has the final swing to the Kingpin fight to, like, basically team up every way. But hey, the best thing about this suit, it leads us to, like, one of the most hardest scenes in Spider-Man movie history. It leads us to the What's Up Danger sequence. I mean, even his suit looks cool in the teaser trailer when he puts on, like, the hoodie, and then literally having the What's Up Danger sequence, and then just goes on right then. And then after that, this suit became such an iconic cosplay for many Black Spider-Man fans, Puerto Rican, Latino Spider-Man fans. Like, you know, it became like a symbol to it. I think the Into the Spider-Verse suit, it's good, but I think the Across Spider-Verse suit is my favorite Miles suit in all media. Oh, is that so? But I mean, I will get to my take of why do I prefer his first movie suit over his second movie suit, because at least the first movie suit, you at least got some web linings all over it, while the second movie surprisingly doesn't have it for some reason. I was kind of disappointed they decided to exclude that from the first one. And once again, kind of similar like Tom Holland's suits, like, yeah, it's kind of a bummer that we got the Far From Home suit at the end of Far From Home, and then he barely wears it in No Way Home. I kind of had the same mentality with the Across the Spider-Verse suit. But as for the Into the Spider-Verse suit, I definitely like it because the web lining, it looks really good, the animation, including the sequence where he's doing the don't watch the mouth, watch the hand, where he's trying to put on the goober chip to send all the other spider variants back home. And then even during the final fight where he takes down Kingpin, bro, the way that Miles poses and the way that he rises up doing the hey shoulder, dude, it was really cool, especially during the final swing moment, which during the anyone can wear the mask, you can wear the mask, dude, literally when he's like having this great shot, like really well animated, really well rendered, and then him just, I know it's a hilarious meme where you can actually do this in the game where he does like this, you know, the shoulder thing where he's doing like this Ferris Bueller thing and then just goes boom to the street. I honestly thought that was funny. But either way, the Miles suit, like I said, in my personal opinion, between the first two suits, it's honestly like one of the best. So if I had to bring the ranking of this suit, where would I rank it when it comes to Miles? I think I'm trying to like rank it as a whole. Would I put it on S tier? Would I put it on A tier? I'm thinking because I don't love it as much as Peter B. I think A tier will be fine. I think I'll be cool with the A tier fine. I think that's where the Miles suit honestly belongs. I want to put S tier as like the suits by comparison. But anyway, as for his Cross Spider-Verse suit, which obviously all the characters keep joking about through the movie, why does it look like you have bleeding armpits? Which, yeah, that's what he looks like. Which, I know Gabriel's not available in this live stream, but I think Gabriel said that Across the Spider-Verse is his favorite Miles suit between the two. I don't remember what's Gabriel's reason behind it. Maybe if I watch an older live stream, I might ask him about it. But either way, for me, I like the suit for what it is because you still get to have that red spider logo. And I will say this, I think the logo looks a much more organized than his first movie suit. I will give it that. But I feel like my biggest disappointment with the suit is it's not, like I said, there's not that much webbing through it. Like, it's just like, okay, just put on a black Spidey suit, just put it on red, and that's about it. And I just feel like they just could have put like a bit too much effort to it. But however, this suit actually looks really good in Insomniac Spider-Man 2, right? It's kind of like tag team Across Spider-Verse Miles and then Into the Spider-Verse Peter and just put that as a whole. Speaking of Insomniac, I don't understand why they would put Spider-Verse Noir for it. Hot take. I think the Miles looks better without the webbing. I mean, if you're going to say for the animated movies, I mean, like I said, I think Gabriel may have a similar opinion like you have, but I don't know. It is what it is. Personally, for me, like, I'm just so used to seeing Spidey suits. I mean, we have some other Spider variants that don't have webbings, and we definitely see the other variants down below. We will talk about Miguel's, Ben Reilly, Kane, Big Time, and many other suit variants that we put on as a whole. So, I don't have too much to say about this suit, but, this is just my personal opinion right now, guys. I guess I would say, like, I don't love it as much as the first movie suit, not as much as Homemade suit. I would say it's somewhere on par with these suits. Like, for, yeah, I do like it more than the final suit in No Way Home, the integrated suit. Yeah, I would say I would put Miles on B tier. Well, no. Yeah, I put Miles on B tier in my book, from how the way it looks. Yeah, this absolutely looks fine. I think B tier will be fine. Yeah, how did he get the suit repair in Beyond? That's what I don't understand. So, in the leaked trailers, it shows that in Beyond the Spider-Verse, he is going to keep the exact same suit from Across, and the suit basically got damaged once when Miguel O'Hara was trying to like take him down. Which, speaking of Miguel, I know we have to get to Miguel later on into the stream, but that being said, guys, like, yeah, dude, I don't know how he eventually got the stream going. Sorry, just make sure that the stream is going well. 2 hours and 11 minutes. Yeah, we are trying to like speed this up as soon as we could. I think the stream could last for like an hour and a half. But yeah, I think he's going to keep the suit for like the majority Beyond the Spider-Verse, especially since the trailer definitely shows he's keeping the suit along with Prowler, Miles G. Morales, and then, yeah, I don't see that much big changes with the new Miles suit for Beyond. So I would hope he gets a new suit because, you know, every Spider-Man movie every Spidey variant needs to have a new look in each film, but it is what it is. But anyway, we're done with the animated stuff. When it comes to the Spider-Verse movies, we will talk about the animated TV shows. But then, let's talk about Miles' suits in the Insomniac games, which I know there's some major ones I'm missing, such as his hoodie suit and his homemade suit, but I feel like it would be too similar to the other Spider-Man suits in the list, so I'd rather just choose the ones that like brings the most strong impression. But as for the mainline Insomniac Spider-Man suit, this one is my favorite Miles Morales suit. So that's why, as much as I like the Spider-Verse suits, I feel like this one is the perfect Miles Morales suit because, number one, clearly he got this suit in his own spin-off video game, and then this became like his main suit. We just got the upgraded Spider-Man suit main default thing. We forgot about his default suit, same with his 1.0 classic Peter suit. I mean, we could have, but I feel like the other suits would be like maybe a little bit too similar with it, but it is what it is. Either way, his classic suit, but also his mainline suit definitely looks a lot very similar, so I would say I would just put on this one. But as for the mainline Miles suit, I would say this is my favorite Miles Morales suit ever, because number one, this suit is definitely the most comic accurate Miles Morales suit, which, since I know Tom Holland is such a big fan of the Insomniac games, that him and Zendaya plays the games, I feel like someday, because even though the Spider-Verse movies adapt Miles stories first, I feel like the Insomniac Miles suit should be the blueprint of adapting live-action Miles Morales someday, which obviously they can't use Miles in the movies yet, most specifically the live-action MCU movies, until Beyond the Spider-Verse. The upgraded Miles suit is my second favorite Miles suit in all media. For me, this is my favorite Miles Morales suit of them all because, one, this one looks comic accurate of them all. Secondly, you got the red lines, you got the textures, but also you got the red, like I said, I feel like the red's definitely like a copy-paste of Peter's from his suit, but definitely looks a lot more realistic and authentic. And I will say this, like, just like every Spider-Man montage needs like a costume training montage and his own standalone video game where you have his own theme of with some DJ music, like him just going in that suit, going to the snow. And I do like there's another skin where his girlfriend Haley, shoutouts, literally his sign language girlfriend gives him like a scarf and some earmuffs, which I thought that was nice because, you know, pay homage to other Spidey variants when they wear clothes. So yeah, for me, I feel like this suit should be like the perfect embodiment of like live action Miles Morales. And I feel like since Tom Holland took a lot of inspiration from Insomniac Spider-Man for Brand New Day, I'm like, dude, I feel like the dynamic of Peter and Miles would take a very huge similarities to the Insomniac games more than it does with the Spider-Verse ones. Tracksuit is number 3. Yeah, it's the white suit that we're talking about, right? So yeah, I don't think I have too much to say. I feel like the Miles suit is easily S tier. Like I said, this is my favorite Miles Morales suit ever, like in my personal opinion, which, once again, Marvel, Sony, take notes when you adapt the suit in live action. But the white suit, I forgot what it was supposed to do, like, in context of the story, but I remember it was a suit, like, in Marvel Spider-Man 2, where it definitely is looking a lot more wider. I feel like this suit was meant to be, like, just like how Miguel O'Hara has his own white edge suit that's kind of like that for Miles. And even though I'm so not used to seeing Spider-Man suit in the white, except for Future Foundation and Anti-Venom, I will say this, like, the suit, I wouldn't say it's better than the original suit, and I wouldn't say it's, like, better than the Spider-Verse suits, but I definitely like the red spider logo on top, and definitely like the whiting definitely makes a lot more different, where you want to make this version of Miles a lot more techie with the stuff, especially when he has his friend Genki knowing about his suits, because yeah, Genki was the original Ned Leeds before Ned Leeds took away his persona and his identity card. So yeah, this suit right here, like the fight was like with the red and the whites, it may not be like a major plot point suit, but it's pretty nice for what it is, like how the way that looks from the games, or how the way it gets adapted. But I can't call it it's like the best suit ever made. So I feel like it's like on the B tier. Like I won't put it as high as like the other suits by comparison, but it's not that bad. But as for his homemade suit, which clearly that was not like a mainline suit, you can definitely tell it takes a lot of inspiration from Tom Holland's homemade suit. But dude, I mean, I understand this is supposed to look like a spider logo, but why is the linings like so much? It kind of looks like 4 different Fruit by the Foot with squiggly legs, and then he has like a 10 cowboy bootleg construction worker boots. Not really sure I really like that, man. And the white sleeves, I mean, I guess it's one way to foreshadow things, but it kind of looks like the Night Monkey suit, try to be like homemade. It's alright. Yeah, that's the only way that I would say. It just exists. But I would say I would just put it on, I won't put it on C tier. I feel like it's on the same vein as the Night Monkey suit. But as for this suit, oh boy. No, insert that funny Indian guy laughing. Like he laughs like a monkey. Bro, What were they thinking when they're developing the suit, bro? I think his voice actor, I forgot what's his name. Yeah, Chris Rock's son from the Grown Ups movies. He said, like, hey, don't blame me. I don't know what they were thinking about in the suit. Yeah, this is easily the worst Miles Morales suit of them all. And besides, having the suit in the final battle where Peter looks fine in his anti-venom suit, but when Miles has this Adidas Jalen looking New Bronx, New Jersey type of outfit, bro, why does he look like one of those Fortnite lobby? He looks like one of those Fortnite OC characters, and you decide to insert them into a Spider-Man game, bro. I mean, the only things I would say that's nice is the shoes don't look too bad. The mask doesn't look too bad. It's like, bro, what's with the new look? I think the best thing about the cutscene is you can literally just change that. Yeah, can we put the Adidas toothpaste and FT just move on with their lives? Yeah, easily. Like, I will say this, just like the Vigilante suit with Andrew Garfield, this looks nothing like Spider-Man at all, dog. It's like, dude, I hate the fact that it's the final suit. The one thing I'm hoping for Insomniac Spider-Man 3, please don't make this as Miles' main suit, because I feel like the developers of those games will be like, yeah, to be honest, we're going to include this game for people that do like it, but people don't like it that much, so we're just going to exclude that off the list. So, yeah, hopefully we don't get to see this as the main suits for the third game, since, you know, Miles is the one only Spider-Man. But speaking of the main Spidey himself, boy, we got one of the most iconic Spidey suits, but probably the best video game Spider-Man suit of all time, the Advanced Insomniac suit. So, he said in the first game, new suit, same old me. Bro, even though I'm so not used to seeing Spider-Man with the white logo, but I feel like for this suit, it pulls it off really well. Like, you can definitely tell it took some inspiration from both Andrew Garfield suits, both the first one and the second one. Like, I can definitely see the Andrew Garfield influence from the red and blue fingers from his first suit, but definitely make the big giant logo from the Amazing Spider-Man 2. But then taking inspiration from Tom Holland's suit where he got the eyes emoting a lot. I honestly think it's pretty cool. But yeah, 1.0 suit's fine, but I love Advanced 2.0. I feel like the one that I'm ranking right now is Advanced 2.0, but the reason why I didn't put 1.0 because they look identically the same, but 2.0 definitely looks like the best as a whole. I mean, the best thing about this suit is, pretty much like I mentioned about Andrew Garfield's suit, this is the one suit that honestly gives this virtuous Spider-Man his own identity, and despite Insomniac Spider-Man has been putting on the red and blue ties since for the past 9 years of Spider-Man for what I remember. And I feel like if you're being like a superhero for so long, you definitely need to have like a new upgraded look. And I feel like the best thing about this suit, it inspired a lot of great merchandise from Hot Toys, collectibles, Marvel Legends figures, and yes, cosplayers. Even cosplayers do a really good job. I think I had a roommate one time actually wore the suit just to be excited for the game. So yeah, I would say this was like, not only is it a great suit for the video games, but it's also a great suit for the cosplaying things. Well, the fun thing is, guys, is as much as I love this suit, I barely played this suit for the mainline game because since, you know, the Insomniac games have multiple suits, and usually I associate myself with the classic Insomniac suits. Same goes for the movie suits, because usually when I play the Insomniac games, I always play like the movie suits, whether it's Toby's or Andrew's or Tom's, or even sometimes the Spider-Verse suits. But either way, the white logo makes it really good for what it is. The eye lenses, like Tom Holland, like I feel like the suit definitely took like the best inspirations from literally like all of 3 live-action Spider-Man. So easily, I would put this suit all the way to S tier. But yeah, that's not the only Insomniac suit, which obviously there are like tons and hundreds of Insomniac suits to be included in the game, but I only just choose the ones that stands out because I don't want to choose suits that like looks exactly identical, which speaking of which, I forgot to include one right here. There he goes, the Ghost Spider suit, which I will include that very much in a second. And yeah, I actually put this on purpose. The anti-suit and what do you call this one? Yeah, anti and anti-venom, my bad, which how ironic, both suits were actually used in the final battle. So wait, if the first game is anti-Ock and the second game is anti-venom, what's next? Anti-goblin suit for the third game? Okay, honestly, I don't like the anti-Ock suit. So anyway, I wouldn't say it's the best suit in the game, but I do like the glowing textures of it, even though I do think it's weird that the suit is basically made from the same technology as Otto Octavius. I know what people are going to say, well, yeah, you can say the same thing with the Iron Man tech with Spider-Man, but at least for the other MCU Spider-Man suits, despite with or without Iron Man tech, he still looks like Spider-Man. I feel like the anti-Ock suit, like, serve its purpose for what it is, like in the nighttime sky, especially with the Doc Ock things. And I feel like the coolest thing about this suit is pretty much like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, where, you know, like, he keeps one eye, but then the right eye's damaged, and then you get to see the mouth, and boy, It's so funny. Like, I love quoting this cutscene a lot because it's so funny how Otto Peter talked by saying, "Such a disappointment, Parker. You knew." It's like, Pete, you literally gave a suit for him. How do you think it's really that obvious that he knew your identity? And then afterward, Peter's like, "You knew." And then the way how Otto does it, "I won't let you win." And then the most cruel thing is when Otto stabs Peter by saying, "Dude, even though it's made by the exact same technology that makes Otto's arms in that game, it's like, dude, it's even strong enough to stab Peter through that armor suit. Man, that's gotta be brutal." So like I said, it definitely does take a lot of inspiration from the Insomniac games, but clearly it's just meant to just be like served for the final act. So I think the anti-Ox suit is fine. Wouldn't put it as high as like A or B or S tier. I would say I would put it somewhere on, no, where are you going? No, not D tier. I would say C tier. C tier actually fits best for anti-Aug. Anti-Goblin's going to be him in a tuxedo. Just watch. Yeah, that's going to be quite hilarious. Be like, "All right, Norman Osborn, say goodbye to your fates." And then later on, he's going to take down Goblin, eventually just putting on the wine and just go, "Oh. So wait, if we're going to get Insomniac's Green Goblin, what about Insomniac's Hobgoblin, if that's the case? If we're going to get anti-Aug, anti-Venom, and then anti-Goblin for the Insomniac Spider-Man trilogy. Miles, he did not even get an on-time one. Now, as for the Milk outfit, the anti-Venom suit, I like it. It's B tier. I will say this. I feel like the anti-Venom suit is definitely giving me vibes of Future Foundation, which, yes, Future Foundation is included onto the list. Anti-Venom suit. I do like this one more than the anti-Ox suit because at least this one, I feel like this one has the better eyes. Like, obviously, definitely a lot more spider-like eyes. And usually, because the one thing I don't like about replaying the first game, you can't change the suit for the anti-Ox in the first game, which is why PC players actually like change the suit and just modify it to Toby's or a different Spidey suit. But for the Spider-Man 2 Insomniac game, you can actually switch the suit. Like for me, I switch it to Andrew Garfield, switch to Symbiote Spider-Man. But obviously the purpose for the anti-Venom suit, it's like literally you just take it away. And obviously my introduction to anti-Venom was Spider-Man Edge of Time, which is a pretty peak. The game, it's decent, but the story is really well told in that game. That's how I got introduced to the anti-Venom symbiote thanks to that game. But as for the Milk Spider-Man suits, I do like the logo. I do like the eyes. I mean, it kind of looks like he's kind of like a naked... If you remove the Spidey stuff, he's going to look like that naked Pepsi Man in his hentai suit, which I honestly thought that would be pretty hilarious. But for what it serves its purposes, yeah, even though I wish there was a little bit more detail around the leggings, but it is what it is. I'll let the anti-Venom suit slide as anti-Venom is a thing before in the game. That's a big missed opportunity to get to do, like, Spider-Man Edge of Time did it first, and then Insomniac Spider-Man 2 decided to do, like, in another way. But yeah, I feel like, the anti-Venom suit, will definitely just put it there. But as for the symbiote suit, so I know you guys are probably wondering, how come you're not including, the 90s symbiote Spider-Man suit? You're not including, most of the other symbiote variants, because I feel like Insomniac Spider-Man for the black suit and the purple suit would look identically the same. I mean, yes, I put the Spider-Man 3 symbiote suit and the Spectacular suit because at least the other symbiote suits, they actually have like very distinct designs. While if I include the other symbiote designs, they're gonna look the same except the eyes and like the white on the fists are gonna look different. So that's why I did not want to put too much symbiotes like on the list, or else they'll look like similarly and identically the same except for Spectacular symbiote and Tobey Maguire's Bully Maguire suit. But as for the symbiote Insomniac suit as a whole, or just basically just any symbiote like adaptation in general, I think this suit is like the perfect embodiment of the modern symbiote. So like, it's like the perfect embodiment of like a modern adaptation of the symbiote from the logo, where he doesn't look like a naked guy wearing a black Zentai cosplay suit. Like you definitely see like the bulginess of the lenses, but obviously you get to see the iconic white spider logo. And I like how the eyes look very Venom-like, which we will talk about in the very Venomized symbiotes. But yeah, I love all the versions of the black suit, but wait, you choose the purple version of the classic black suit? Well, the reason why I just put the purple version is because the purple version actually gives like a much more clear impression, and secondly, the purple version also applies to the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, where in that version of Ultimate Spider-Man it's definitely a lot more purplish. But as for the modern black suit, I think Tom Holland basically says, like, I would love to get a live-action symbiote. Like, Tom Holland says he wants his live-action symbiote suit to look as good as the symbiote, like, in the Insomniac game. So I will say this, like, this suit, in my opinion, is the perfect embodiment of the symbiote suit. Like, even though, yes, Spider-Man 3, yes, that suit is definitely it's slashed from how the way it looks, even though it's just a copy and paste of the red and blue suit put in black. But if you want to have a perfectly comic book accurate symbiote Spider-Man symbiote like adaptation, it looks really good here. And the best thing about this suit is, yes, this suit definitely gives like the symbiote powers from the Venom Blashes, especially when he fights Lizard. Dog, that was crazy, man. But hopefully someday, and like I said, since I'm talking about the symbiotes again, dude, so even though we just had one live action symbiote adaptation, and this game gave us the latest modern adaptation of the symbiote, dude, so I know that Tom Holland will get the live action symbiote in Avengers Secret Wars, yeah, like in the 80s version in the comics. But if Tom Holland gets this suit, like for Spider-Man 5, as we guys want it to be, and we saw in No Way Home at Brand New Day where he was going bizarre and basically going on murderous killing rampage mode to take down Green Goblin and finishing Scorpion, it's like, dude, what Decidena Cretton's, like his direction and the emotion and the tone, and Tom's acting the Black Suit symbiote, I feel like Tom Holland's like symbiote, like the Bully Holland symbiote storyline could possibly easily dethrone Spider-Man 3's adaptation, in my opinion. So for Insomniacs, this is, like, in my opinion, my favorite symbiote suit of them all. Like, if you had to adapt like a perfect adaptation of the symbiote, I'll definitely like place it up there in my book. But as for the classic purple one, once again, this applies to like both the Insomniac version but also the Ultimate one. I personally prefer the Ultimate version when it comes to the purple symbiote, because I feel like in that comic book art style, I definitely like the purple lenses of it, how the way that the symbiote lashes out like a demon coming out. It's like literally like an alien parasite. Literally a parasite just like lashing onto it. I mean, even when you play Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, literally Josh Kane's Ultimate Spidey's like, wait, the black suit? Why am I doing the black suit? I hate this thing. I like how the purple colors like scheme through it to the suit, that even Insomniac kind of like did their own version of the purple skin to it. And the funniest thing is, despite Web of Shadows, Symbiote Spider-Man did not look too purplish enough, but every time I go to the Chameleon Side mission in Sonic Spider-Man 2, I put on this specific purple symbiote suit, and then it plays the iconic Beethoven music, which basically is like the opening cutscene of Web of Shadows, which is basically the sad, depressed Spider-Man meme. So yeah, the purple suit, I may not like it as much as like the black suit, but I definitely say I would put it like on another S tier, just because I really like the purple shadings when it comes to the symbiote storyline. Well, man, I'm going to sleep. Just to know, I love the Unlimited and Sensational suits. Hey, it's fine, bro. I mean, thankfully for this live stream, I'm not going to do like a part 2 because I kind of want to speed run it. And secondly, this is going to be like one of my more shorter tier list streams. But hey, good to know that you like the Unlimited suits and the Sensational suits. But yeah, let me just wrap up the Insomniac symbiote suits. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to rank the next 3 suits, and then I'm going to take like a quick bathroom break, and then after the bathroom break, I'll talk about the animated suits and then the other comic book Spider-Man variants like in the next couple of minutes. But first, let me just get the next 3 video game suits out the way. As for the Venomized symbiote suit, dude, this symbiote Spidey suit is a beast. And why this one's a beast? Because, bro, the way that this suit and Inside Spider-Man 2 lashes out, especially when it tries to chase out Mary Jane, where you get to hear Peter, like the voice of the suit where he goes, run! Like literally with the Venom suit, like literally just lashing out. It's like, dude, it made the symbiote Spider-Man so scary, where you see a bunch of like alien tentacles coming out, and then you get to see Peter getting very angry at one of the Craven Goods where he goes, where? And it's like, dude, literally the suit. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to rank this one as high as like the other suits by comparison, because I definitely think this Venomized suit might be a bit over-designed compared to the other original iterations. But as like, obviously this suit, like the Venomized symbiote suit, is meant to metaphor that the Venom is literally controlling Peter. And by the way, insert 3 days grace and Skillet Monster. I'm feeling deep when it's just beneath the skin. I know I fast, I feel like a monster. No one will ever tame the sin of my lie. I become this suit, but also Symbiote Spider-Man as a whole, great for tier list ranking. So I would put this one on A tier. I feel like this one would be perfectly fine as like a A tier in my book when it comes to the symbiote story. No, actually, put it on B tier, because I do think it's a bit over-designed, but I can't say it's better than the other suits by comparison. As for the Ghost Spider suit, bro, this looks nothing like Spider-Man at all. Bro looks definitely looking like he's like not wearing any clothes. You can definitely see his pee-pee hole. Secondly, the Spider logo doesn't look that good. It feels like a Ghost Rider version of Spider-Man, honestly, but except he has like a blue blazing head, so easily F tier. Really don't like the suit. But as for the final video game suit, before we move on to animated Spider-Man TV shows and then the other Spider-Man variants, and then we'll just call it a night here. The Last Stand suit, okay, I definitely know, based on my Spidey knowledge, definitely it is inspired by one of the Kraven the Hunter storylines, and then Peter Parker definitely has like this more one. I mean, like I said, I can definitely tell, I won't say it's like a copycat of Tobey Maguire's Human Spider suit, but this suit in particular definitely has like this authentic, like rubbery type of realistic thing. Like, it's definitely like a more rubber type of suits, and even though the suit doesn't have that much like web textures to it, but I definitely think that's kind of the charm, where it kind of looks like a hoodie in a way, like you put on like one of these Hot Topic hoodies, and then just in case, like, even though it's funny that Peter B. Parker's Spider-Man from Spider-Verse wears like sweatpants, this one has like black jeans, but I definitely say this, when it comes to both cosplaying, the video game, and even some action figures, this suit's honestly not that bad. I honestly say it looks pretty cool what it was. So my last take for the Insomniac video game sins, I would definitely say I will put this on B tier. I would put it like right next to yeah, right here. I definitely think it would be fine with the Miles Morales suit. So I will talk about spectacular Spider-Man. So yeah, let me just check the stream, and I will take a short like 2-3 minute break of the bathroom break and a refill of water. So how many suits in total before we talk about animated TV shows? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 more suits left, which are animated suits and the comic book suits, which I'll be right, guys. If you guys still watch the stream, I'll be right back in 3 minutes. And hello, Rexy, you're being so excited. Want to say hello to the stream? I know, you want me to like make sure things are okay. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to go refill my water, take a quick bathroom break. So, time to web swing. Living on the edge, fighting cross, spinning web, skin and fun to find it says he can leap above our heads. Spectacular, spectacular Spider-Man, spectacular, spectacular Spider-Man. So yes, I am back for talking about the animated side for Spider-Man shows. I mean, whether for those are still watching or not, we're definitely going to speed run for like the next 30 minutes to make this 3-hour stream complete. But as for Spectacular Spider-Man, yeah, he definitely looks a lot more stiff and skinny, but that being said, that's what makes this design spectacular. Because first of all, you got my GOAT, Josh Keane, like voicing Spidey into this. And secondly, you can tell that the eyes are very Stanley Steve Ditko inspiration, but also I like that you got a little bit of like the web wings armpits. Like even though we don't see him glide that much in the TV show, but I definitely like that small detail. And yeah, you definitely got that small spider logo, and then you got the back classic Spidey logo. Yeah, enjoy that show. It's really spectacular. But what is spectacular is the suit variant. The coolest thing is I like whenever we see Peter unmasks himself. He definitely looks cool, like even without unmasking the suit, especially that one iconic episode where he was going to drink the antidote that will take away all Spider-Man powers, and he remembers Uncle Ben and saving Dr. Connors. But also the fight scenes with the suit is very fluid, and it's really well made with this animation when he's having the fights with. My favorite fights with this Spectacular Spider-Man is easily the fight with Green Goblin, especially in the final battle, which, just like traditionally for every Spider-Man suit, it has to be battle damage, just like Tobey Maguire. And literally around that time, literally wall crawls whenever it runs, and then eventually whenever he got to take down other guys, especially when he delivers his joke to the suit, where, especially when he has that one iconic suit with Ryan by saying like, oh, I just went a thing and a thing. It's like, oh, I went a thing and a thing. I got a thing and a thing. What do I win? You. I win me? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. But either way, the suit looks really cool for what it is, just because of how lean it is and like I said, similar like other Spider-Man variants, it looks very lean, looks very authentic, and yeah, I mean, it's Spectacular Spider-Man. What else can I say? It's a childless statement, and it's definitely up there in the S tier ranking for like one of the best Spider-Man suits in my personal opinion. So that's what I would say. For that inclusion spectacular, you definitely belong to be included up there. Just watching Toy Story 5, better than the fourth movie. It was rated 9.7 out of 10. Went great, enjoyable, awesome. That's a pretty high rating, bro. But hey, it's good to know that you watched Toy Story 5. Cool to know and to hear that, bro. Anyway, for the Black Suit Spider-Man, yeah, Spectacular Symbiote Spider-Man. It is pretty much just like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3, where it's just like a repainted version of Spectacular Spider-Man. But either way, I still say the suit's pretty nice for what it is, just because, you know, since Spectacular Spider-Man clearly takes a lot of inspiration from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, from how the way that it looks, from the way that they just color in the black. I like how the black suit looks when he's trying to face down the chameleon version, like disguise himself or tag teaming with Black Cat, which, you know, we're still need to see Black Cat in the live action movies. Or even the iconic moment where the symbiote takes over his body and he's facing all, like, Peter is in his sleep, but all the Sinister Six members from Doc Ock, Vulture, Sandman, Rhino, Shocker, and Electro, bro, like, Symbiote Spider-Man did not pull off no punches. And then I will talk about the upgraded Symbiote Spider-Man. I feel like I'm going to talk to both the suits at the same time. The 90s Spider-Man suit was my favorite. Yeah, we will talk about 90s Spider-Man since he's literally right there on the rides, but just to conclude Spectacular's black suit, I like the fact that for this version of Spectacular Spider-Man, you can literally see the lenses of literally the Spectacular suit, like literally just leaning on over whenever it evolves. Kind of like Insomniac's like Black Suit Spider-Man, where it just leads on to like literally trying to include most of the symbiote becoming more monstrous, more venomous. And here's my personal hot take. Even though the 90s animated series gave us the best symbiote adaptation, but personally for me, I think Spectacular Spider-Man gave us the best symbiote adaptation, which, hear me out, the episode where the symbiote becomes like a literal demon, tormenting Peter's emotions, not just his emotions, but his heart and soul, recapping his origin story, where Uncle Ben got shot, and basically being rebellious over the guy that was gonna go end Uncle Ben's life, and then literally Peter just stopping the symbiote, going to Peter's best moments, especially when the symbiote bonds with Peter, and then you get to see all the important people from Peter's life, from his loved ones, his classmates, his friends, his former enemies, but also basically all the people that matters in Peter Parker's life that makes Peter human. I like the response that Peter says to the symbiote by saying, "You're just a disease, they're the cure." Like the writing, the voice acting in that episode was really good. So Symbiote Spider-Man, I'm just going to put it like all of it on S tier since it's basically both the same thing. But anyway, as for 90s animated Spider-Man, let's get to that, shall we? So yes, 90s animated Spider-Man was definitely good for what it was ahead of its time. I mean, sure, yes, clearly there's other Spider-Man variants that does a much better job when it comes to the suit, but this definitely like gives like a nice homemade. I would say homemade because the next suit is going to be homemade, but it has a very like nice classic Spider-Man touch to it. I mean, like I said, my only complaint with it is like, yes, I'm more used to Spider-Man with like more like darker black lenses, where he definitely like it kind of reminds me of the Universal Spidey suit, where basically it's not too much of the black lining, which I definitely see that's the inspiration. But thanks to this Spider-Man, it gave us like a lot of iconic memes of the sugar, or the basically where the fake Mary Jane evaporates in the water, and then bro, Christopher Daniel Barnes, the voice actor, scream out of his lungs, "No, Mary Jane!" Literally, like, bro, just literally just acted the hell out of it. But as for the suit itself, the suit looks really cool whenever he gets to fight Venom, which, you know, that's one of the most iconic episodes in the 90s animated series. One episode I also really like with the suit is where we get this version of Spider-Man having the 6 arms, like becoming the Man-Spider, which many fans thought Tom Holland was going to have the Man-Spider growing 6 arms out of it, and then he becomes the giant Moon Spider Brand New Day, so we get out the way. 90s is an S tier. I love the suit. I want this Halloween costume in a hoodie. It would be cool because, you know, it's a classic touch. But I find it funny that despite there's no revival of the 90s animated series, and let's not forget, guys, the 90s animated series is what gave us the Spider-Verse in the first place in the very final episode, where we get to see other variants of other different Spider-Man. And secondly, let's not forget that the 90s Spider-Man made a cameo in the recent Disney Plus X-Men 97 revival, but they didn't even got his voice actor Christopher Daniel Barnes back. So I'm like, does that mean we're going to get a revival of Spider-Man 98 if that's the case? But yeah, 90s animated Spider-Man, I would also put on S tier, just to be fair with Spectacular, because, you know, it was like, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't like the first animated Spider-Man suit, but it definitely gave us, like, you know, the most iconic Spider-Man ones, and it was like the first mainstream one. And even though Spectacular Spider-Man has the most iconic song, but seeing the 90s Spider-Man back in the day with that Aerosmith song, Spider Blood, right out Spider Blood, my complaints is like, with that version of Spider-Man, he doesn't punch his enemies. I mean, he only hits his enemies 3 times because he usually uses webs more than his fists because, you know, censorship for the kids. Plus, the 90s suit gives us vibes of the Batman and the animated series too, since, yeah, you're right, because both Spider-Man and Batman came out in the 90s. I think the Batman animated series is a lot better, which is saying a lot since I am a Spider-Man fan. But yeah, those shows definitely dominate the 90s next to X-Men, Batman, and Spider-Man, the animated series. But anyway, we're almost done. Well, technically, we only have one more animated variant because of Miguel O'Hara and Across Spider-Verse. But as for the animated TV shows, we got your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which I saw the concept that, yes, we will be getting Season 2 very soon, like more sooner than I expected it to be. And the funniest thing is, this is basically the mainline suit for Season 1. And even though this show is basically inspired by MCU Spider-Man, that even the voice sounds a lot like Tom Holland's, but you can clearly tell that this is definitely meant to be its own continuity, like its own alternative dimension. As for the homemade suit, personally, I still prefer the live-action homemade suit, like the live-action Tom Holland suit, while this one, you can tell it's somewhat inspired by Civil War suit, but also try to be like its own thing. I mean, the web shooters are cool, but I just don't like the fact that the webbing's like a bit bulky, where it basically gets tangled up. It's like, literally, this version of Peter in Season 1 of the show by saying, dude, if you're trying to face like a villain in a fiery building, like, why would you eventually just take that as a whole? And then pretty much like what your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man does, like, you know how Iron Man is responsible for making Tom Holland suits? For this show, it's Norman Osborn giving Peter, like, different suits. Like, it's so weird that in this show, Norman Osborn gave this version of Peter the Future Foundation suit, even though that's made by the Fantastic Four. I'm like, why are we getting these other alternative comic book suits before the mainline suit? Probably just for comic book Easter eggs for, like, Spider-Man fans of the show. So either way, the blue, I mean, like I said, I guess they say the blue is definitely more of the prototype, and you definitely see, like, the back logos more onto the front. I mean, it still is believable for this animated universe, but I still wasn't the biggest fan of, like, how big the web shooters look. I do like the goggles. I do think the goggles are a nice touch, and even the red mask is also cool, but I feel like the suit's maybe a bit too blue and less red, in my opinion. But as a homemade suit, I mean, like I said, I still prefer the live-action homemade suit, because I feel like the live-action homemade suit kind of embodies the perfect blends of red and blue, while this one has a bit of lack of red, but definitely more blue, and the web shooters look a bit more bulkier. But at least the eyes, if there's one thing I do say that's better for this animated iteration, is the eyes look so much better for it. So if I had to give, like, the homemade, your Friendly Neighborhood Spider suit, I guess I would put it on B tier. Yeah, I think B tier definitely fits better for, like, the suit for what it looks like, in my personal opinion. That's where eventually I would place B tier for your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But as for the main final suit, even though I am aware there are like other suits, but yeah, this is technically the suit that he wears like in maybe like, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe like in the last 2 final episodes of the show where he has like the iconic red and blue. I know for the upcoming season 2 that's going to be dropping on Disney Plus on January 2027, this will be his mainline suit until this version of Spidey will get his own black suit. I do like that this version of Spider-Man faces a scorpion, which basically foreshadows Brand New Day, and I honestly think that's pretty cool from how it looks like. And secondly, another thing I also like is, even though, yes, you can clearly tell it takes inspiration from, I wouldn't say before the Brand New Day suit, but kind of like the Disneyland Avengers Campus suit or the No Way Home suit where it tries to make it blue, but this time they make the logo much more smaller for that suit. So that's what I would say in my personal honest opinion for how it is. But I will say it's probably the best suit for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man suit for it. So, I mean, the blue is definitely a lot more light bluish in a way, but I would say I would put it like in the same ranking as as the 90s animated TV show. So I would put it on S tier. But as for the final animated TV show Spider-Man, we got Spider-Man Unlimited. Wear the mask. Okay, even though this design is very different from what we're mostly used to when it comes to most Spider-Man suit adaptations, I mean, this one, instead of having webs on the armpits, the web is kind of like a cape. And I feel like this suit, for the show specifically, Spider-Man Unlimited only lasts for like 1 season, even though it was very different. Like, it wasn't like your traditional, let's go swing in New York City. Spider-Man's like in an alien planet where you got the high evolutionary, and Spider-Man gets to rescue all these alien humanoid versions of these characters, where you got different variants of Green Goblin, Venom, and Carnage. I'm not the biggest fan of Carnage design in the show, by the way. But as for this suit itself, I like that this Spider-Man Unlimited suit makes a cameo literally in Across Spider-Verse, and I honestly thought it looks pretty cool. And the reason why I put the Unlimited suit next to Miguel O'Hara, bro, it's hilarious that I can't even hate this suit seriously, whatever. It just goes. But yeah, I do like the red lenses. I do like the blue shadings. I can't say it's like the most peak absolute Spider-Man suit, if I had to say in my personal opinion. Like, I would say I would put Unlimited on A tier because I do like the red and blue shades. It definitely represents like the late 90s neon colors for what it does. That suit looks like the scuba diver Spider-Man suit I used to have, because probably it is based on the Spider-Man Unlimited suit that you have like back in the past. But I will say this, like, even though it may not be, you know, the most embodiment of the Spider-Man suit, but I definitely say it looks pretty cool from the red spider logo, the balloon lenses, and like I said, I think it looks really cool in the futuristic setting. And I feel like, even though 2099 exists in the comics in the early 90s, but I feel like this show with this suit was like the blueprint of literally Miguel O'Hara. And besides, the voice actor of, it's the narrator of Curious George voicing Spider-Man. It's like, George got to go to the library, but then I got to voice Spider-Man. So yeah, I would say I would put Spider-Man Unlimited on A tier. I definitely say it belongs in the A tier territory. Sorry, this is what happens when you talk too much, guys. But yeah, now that we're done with the animated TV shows, I know we have one more animated variant. We just got to get to the comic book variant, since I know not a lot of people are watching the stream, and make the stream at least 3 hours long, because this is like, compared to other tier list streams, this is definitely one of the more shorter ones. Usually the rest are like 4 or 5 hours at the latest, which I feel like that's going to be the case for the Spider-Man movie villains ranking if I do that next weekend. But anyway, how many suits we got? So we got 3 Miguel suits, 2 Scarlet Spiders, no, actually 3 Scarlet Spiders, so that means 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So yeah, 14 suits, and then we're good to go for the stream. So anyway, let's talk about Miguel O'Hara. But we're not going to talk about the Across, like, we're going to save the Across Spider-Verse suit later on. But as for the mainline Miguel O'Hara, y'all, before Miles Morales became a mainstream Spider-Man variant, I mean, before Miles existed and before Miles became popular in later years, Miguel was like my second favorite Spider-Man variant. That wasn't Peter Parker. Number 1, he's Hispanic, so respect to mi hermano, to Homen Araña. So obviously representing some Hispanic Spanish culture, thumbs up. But thirdly, I really love Miguel's suit, bro, because, dude, from the red and blue lighting, from the textures, from how the way that it looks like, from the eyes and how the way that the totem looks, it's like, dude, even when he uses like the spikes literally just like to attack his villains, because this version of Spider-Man, of course he can glide And instead of just doing this sign of the web shooters, he kind of like does it from the arm instead, kind of like claws in a way. And I think that's what's so cool about Miguel. Like, he uses the claws, and even across Spider-Verse, which we will talk about the Spider-Verse version of Miguel, where basically he has like the fangs, because bro's like half of a vampire. But dude, the way how the suit looks at nighttime, and I feel like the logo is so iconic of how the way it looks. And to me, even though, yeah, it's the best of both worlds of having the red and blue variant sides for this Spider-Man. But yeah, Miguel's suit, it just really slaps, bro. So I'm going to be extremely biased on this, but I almost wanted to put on an S tier, but if I put it above Tom Holland, that would be above criminal for me. So for Miguel's OG suits, and yeah, this is a shout out. I like that Miguel says the word shock a lot. Like, wait, no shocking way. Oh, shock, because obviously shock is basically a cuss word in the year 2099, which I honestly think that's pretty funny. And during the time where he tried to save Peter Parker in the edge of time by saying, no shocking way, Parker, you're bluffing. But yeah, just like Miles Morales has his own white suit, even Miguel O'Hara has his own white suit, which I'm going to be honest, it may look cool in the video games and even some of the cosplay suits, but I personally think this is a downgrade compared to the mainline suit. So personally, I think the white is probably like a bit too distracting, and to me, the coolest thing of what makes Miguel O'Hara's Spider-Man looks cool is honestly the blue. And you can barely see the eye texture when it comes to the white one, so I personally think it's a downgrade. I don't got much to say. I would say, I would put it on, I guess E tier will be fine. Like, I think it's okay for what it is. But anyway, as for the final Miguel O'Hara suit, bro, the fact that Miguel O'Hara literally has to take down a young black Afro teenager just for taking down the multiverse. You are the original anomaly. You're a mistake with saying, well, Miguel, don't you think you're being a bit too racist, a bit too hard on Miguel? Or in this case, but anyway, we're not going to talk about Miguel himself as a character. I do think the suit, it's definitely a lot more thinner than the mainline Miguel O'Hara, but definitely the coolest thing is, like, whenever he tries to do, like, the spider trace, is honestly pretty cool. And even though, yes, you can definitely see Miguel's butt cheeks a lot more leaner to it, but I like once when you take off his mask, his hair is a lot more downer. It definitely looks a lot more Hispanic-looking ones. But I definitely say Miguel O'Hara on Across Spider-Verse, when in terms of design, it looks pretty badass, man, especially when it comes to the red fangs and basically when it comes to the red spikes. Bro looks really cool. So I would say Miguel O'Hara's Spider-Verse design alone, even though, yeah, he was kind of an antagonist across Spider-Verse, which, yes, if I make my Spider-Man villain tier list, I probably might include Miguel in the list. Like, even though Miguel is not a villain, like, definitely Miguel in other media looks more like a hero, like in Shattered Dimensions and Edge of Time, and even in one episode of the Disney XD Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, he definitely looks a lot more like a good guy in this one, but across Spider-Verse, he looks more antagonistic, but it is what it is, guys. But I would say design-wise, he's definitely up into the A tier. But now we are officially going to wrapping up the stream, speed running to the comics variation. So we're going to be starting off with the Scarlet Spider, aka the first Spider-Man that was a clone, which his name was Ben Reilly, aka I think I'm a clone now. This is one of the most iconic Spider-Man variant suits, and you can clearly tell that Tom Holland's homemade suit took inspiration from the Scarlet Spider, but except, you know, he's blue, and then he got the spider logo, and he's definitely a lot more red, and then obviously Ben Reilly is the Spider-Man clone that takes over Peter's identity when he becomes blonde, and when the Jackal makes Gwen Stacy a clone, which, yes, that's the most iconic clone saga, which most Spider-Man media tries to avoid the clone saga storyline, except for the Disney XD Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon, and even Across Spider-Verse has Andy Samberg voicing Scarlet Spider, saying, I can't talk too much about my past or my biceps. I do like the eyes of how he looks like in that movie, because it looks very 90s looking, because that's where the inspiration of Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider eventually looks a lot more good. Scarlet Spider suit is either S tier or A tier. Yeah, I definitely say so for sure. The Scarlet Spider, I would say it's definitely going to be up there for, I definitely say Scarlet Spider 1, Ben Reilly's is A tier. Oh, if we're going to talk about the Kane Scarlet Spider suit, dude, that suit is very, like, really cool. Even though it's not the same Scarlet Spider, it's not Ben Reilly, but it's actually Kane Scarlet Spider, who basically was like a much more darker past. Even Kane Scarlet Spider plays a major role in the Disney XD Ultimate Spider-Man, but dude, the black color shadings and the red ones, not only it makes him look rough, but also makes him look like quite edgy with the badass. And this is the only Scarlet Spider suit that basically has like these spikes where he basically just takes down just to attack his enemies. I thought it's pretty cool. So yeah, Scarlet Spider suits, I would honestly put it on S tier as well, and then Scarlet Spider suit for the A tier would be this. Yeah, I think I'll put this one. And then for the final sensational Scarlet Spider suit, this is another Ben Reilly counterpart. Funny enough, this suit actually inspires like what is it? Yeah, it stars Mayday Parker, aka the daughter of Peter Parker, and she actually has her own variant of this suit. Like, this one is definitely the most 90s coded Spider-Man show, aside from the 90s animated series and Spider-Man Unlimited. Like, I remember back in the day, like, in the 90s and the 2000s, you have, like, the Spider-Man figure that has, like, a giant spider logo, and then it's, like, very dark in the blue and black painting. And then, obviously, the web shooters are, like, left and right for it. It's a really cool design, so I feel like this one is, like, possibly up there next to the mainline Scarlet Spider. That's one thing just to put for sure. But anyway, as for the other suits themselves, the classic Iron Spider suit, dude. So, despite I was ranting about MCU Iron Spider suit, like, not being comic accurate, and then they literally put the Iron Spider logo in the integrated No Way Home suit, dude, this is what... Yeah, is it Mayday Spider-Girl? Yes, it is. Yeah, she is. I mean, that's why this Ben Reilly Spider suit is basically the inspiration for Mayday's Spider-Girl suit when she becomes older. But yeah, that's who she is. But anyway, the classic Iron Spider suit, dude. I'm so disappointed that we're never going to get this in live action. I mean, we sort of did. We got the end. Like, was it really that hard to give us a comic accurate Iron Spider suit if you weren't going to do it in the MCU? Like, the Iron Spider suit, like, makes it, like, red and blue, and I feel like the MCU version's very over-designed. And then, in No Way Home, they pretty much give, like, the golden Iron Spider logo in the integrated suit, but like I said before, we're done with the Iron Man stuff. But as for the comic book itself, dude, my introduction to the Iron Spider suit was actually in... No, it wasn't actually a Civil War comic. It was actually like a... it was like a Marvel Legends figure where you definitely got to have like the Iron Spider legs and get past through. But I will say this suit is really amazing once when you play it on video games, whether that's Marvel Rivals, Fortnite, what's another one? I'm trying to miss them. Yeah, the Insomniac PlayStation Spider-Man games. And yeah, this is the iconic suit where Spider-Man joins Team Iron Man in the comics. And even though Brand New Day basically... Yeah, I think Brand New Day recreates one iconic comic book cover where Punisher is like grabbing Spider-Man, where he's all bluesed up, and then basically he's defeated. But obviously it's with the Brand New Day suit. It honestly looks really cool in the Civil War comic where Punisher basically just picks up Iron Spider when he's like bleeding and he's wounded and he basically is like severely injured. But yeah, this is just going to be a personal hot take. I'm just going to say the original OG Iron Spider suit, dude, it is 100% S tier on my book. So, like I said, it's a shame that the live action versions couldn't compete for what they've done with the Iron Spider suit, but my goodness, man, it's definitely a suit that's like worth going when it comes to the suit. But either way, as I continue on with no, that's not what I meant. Sorry, my bad, guys. Anyway, let's get to the big-time Spider-Man suit, which, for those that watch Sharmus Prime, if you guys don't know who Sharmus Prime is, he's like one of the most iconic adult action figure toy collectors, and he goes, here he goes with the Marvel Legends big-time letdown Spider-Man. Hey, brother, hey, brother, hey, brother. Oh, hello, brothers. It's like, bro, if you watch Sharmus Prime's big-time letdown Spider-Man, it's like, dude, every time, I always associate this Spider-Man suit all the way with, that Marvel Legends Spider-Man action figure where he always posts in the gap by saying, "Hey, why does Batman skip church? Christian Bale." But yeah, big time. Like, aside from Sharmus Prime and mentioning hee hee ha ha YouTube jokes, big time Spider-Man, I will say this: the suit is pretty fine for what it is. I mean, it definitely suits fine for its dark neon colors, but I won't say it's like my favorite Spider-Man suit. Like, it definitely tell like it tries its best to be like most of the other Spidey suits. Like, it's definitely not like terrible, but at the same time it's not like something I would be like, oh yeah, I like this suit. It's definitely like one of the best Spider-Man suits ever. So if I had to give this one a ranking, I do like it more than the anti-Ock suit. I would say C tier for this. But now for Superior Spider-Man, aka the most controversial and notorious Spider-Man story where Dr. Octopus goes into the mind. So Peter Parker's Peter Parker's mind dies and Dr. Octopus's body, and Dr. Otto Octavius goes into Peter's mind. He took over Peter Parker's mind, and then Peter's like a ghost, and then seeing Otto Octavius taking control of Spider-Man, breaking up with Mary Jane, finding a new girl, being more rebellious with the Avengers and the other Marvel characters, where Otto Octavius took over Spider-Man's body, which once again, controversial storyline. Even I was by saying, really? That's such a terrible way to kill off Peter Parker. Like, why would he take over Spider-Man's body while Peter dies in Otto's body? Like, man, that doesn't seem right. But either way, as for the suit itself, I was not expecting Superior Spider-Man to have, like, talons, like spikes, where he basically, I mean, kind of similar to, like, Miguel O'Hara, where he basically has, like, red talons, but it's, like, up to the points. And then, pretty much, since it is Doc Ock in control of this Spider-Man body, of course he'll make his own arms. But I feel like the best thing about the suit is the black giant spider logo. It's definitely giving me, like, very early 2000s Alex Ross type of Spider-Man suits. If you guys don't get the reference, back when they were trying to make Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man suit, literally, they were trying to make it like red and black, like the Alex Ross suit. And I feel like that concept art is literally the inspiration for Superior Spider-Man. So, like I said before, even though, despite the controversy of what Doc Ock did to Spidey, the suit's honestly not that bad. I mean, I haven't seen too much people cosplaying in the suit, but I definitely see this suit a lot in the Spider-Man Unlimited mobile games, the Spider-Verse comics, and I like that the mainline Peter Parker argues with this Spider-Man, be like, I'm the real Spider-Man, and basically he takes the leader, then most of the other Spider-Man variants take the mainline Peter Parker side over Doc Ock Spider-Man. But as for his design, I'm just going to say I would rank Superior Spider-Man on, still thinking. I'm trying to decide where do I want to put it. I'll just put it on B tier. Yeah, I think B tier will be fine for Superior Spider-Man. But as for one of my personal favorite Spider-Mans, the Ultimate Spider-Man comic book, not the animated series, the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. Dude, this Spider-Man was my childhood when it comes to reading the comics. And I will say this, I mean, if somebody asked me what are my favorite, not movies, not TV shows, not video games, my favorite comic iteration of Spider-Man, it's definitely the Ultimate ones. I mean, yes, that's the same universe where Peter dies and Miles becomes the main Spider-Man in that universe, and then when Secret War happens, the mainline Miles teams up with the mainline Peter, and yada yada yada. Comic book lore, am I right? But man, I love the bulgy eyes. I love the Young Spider logo. I like that he's a lot more leaner, but you definitely see that more teenage built physique when he has it when in his Ultimate Comics years. And the reason why I like the suit so much, because not only I like the big bulgy eyes, I definitely like it's faithful to the original Spider-Man, but it kind of brings its own identity, just like with the other comics. So I will say this, like, it really looks great in the issues, what it does look like when he's wall crawling, finding the criminals, all of his villains in the series, especially of, like, how the comic looks. And the best thing about Ultimate Spider-Man, the comic suit, literally it makes a lot of inspiration for AMVs, comic dubs, suit designs, cosplay suits. Like what I'm saying, like, this is a childhood fan favorite one, so I'm just going to put the Ultimate Spider-Man suit, yeah, the Ultimate one in my opinion, all the way on S tier. And now, we're almost done, guys. For those that are still watching the stream, since, you know, it's only a 3-hour stream. Like I said, one of the more shorter tier list streams, if I'm being honest with you guys. The all-new, all-different suit. I think this is during the time where Peter Parker was kind of like taking the Iron Man persona, where instead of making Stark Industries, it's Parker Industries. It's basically like a more metallic Iron... Like, it's not like exactly like Iron Spider, but definitely like a more metal armor version of Spider-Man, and then you make it like more glow in the dark when it comes like to the green lines. I mean, I definitely say the suit rocks when you play it in the Insomniac games. So like I said, it's definitely like just a more metal shiny version, but I definitely say the suit definitely shine the most when there's like blue or green lining, because, you know, if this is meant to be like a more modified version of the Spider-Man suit, then yeah, that's eventually I would eventually put it for my hot take. So if I had to rank the all-new, all-different suit, I definitely would probably rank it sometime in try my best to think. Probably somewhere around B tier. Yeah, I honestly would put this on B tier. And now the Future Foundation suit. I probably might put this on a higher ranking, but it's going to be very debatable. So the Future Foundation suit is one of the most iconic alternative suits that Peter Parker wears, which in the comics, Human Torch dies in one universe, and then since Peter Parker was close friends with Human Torch, aka Johnny Storm, that was kind of like his brother from another mother, he honors him by putting on a Future Foundation suit with Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, and The Thing, because out of all the superhero teams, Spider-Man gets along with Fantastic Four first and foremost. Even when Peter was offered to join the team by saying, well, you guys are not going to pay for my financial stuff, sorry guys, I'm leaving the Baxter Building. But I like that in Marvel Rivals, they're like, alright Peter, you're family to us. It's like, yeah, the Future Foundation suit, I mean, literally, just like Miguel O'Hara, it takes place in the future, and the fact that the Future Foundation suit has like this black and white webbing all over it that makes it like a little more tougher and stronger. And once again, even though I'm still not used to seeing white Spider-Man when it comes to like the suits from how it looks, I definitely say like the eye lenses are definitely like the best part of it, even though it's going to be a bit difficult to like separate it from Anti-Venom, because Anti-Venom kind of looks exactly the same. But I feel like this suit is definitely 10 times better than the Anti-Venom suit, because at least this one has more variety when it comes to like the black shading of it all, rather than just like, yeah, I'll just make it like into like a white Pepsi Man. So if I had to do my ranking on the Future Foundation suits, I'm probably going to put it on A tier. Just my personal biased opinion, guys. Don't go at me with this. And now I'm just going to speed run with these last two ones. Cosmic Spider-Man. This is barely a Spider-Man suit. It's like one Spider-Man has like eternal cosmic suits and there's only a little bit of red. He just looks more like a bootleg DC character than just like a mainline Spider-Man character. So if I had to do a ranking on the cosmic suit, yeah, I probably might put it on, okay, probably like it looks better than the other suit, but definitely just put it onto the D tier. And now the most pointless one of them all. Okay, technically it's not Spider-Man, but this is a suit called Hornet that even the Disney Plus TV show calls it a Spider-Man suit, and it's called Hornet. It's like, dude, is this even a Spider-Man suit or what? It kind of looks like one of those horrible like OC like fan art variants by saying like, dude, I'm like, how is this Spider-Man if he's only just going to use wings? And they're like, even the Disney Plus show makes fun of it. My introduction to this suit was actually the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game, if you want guys on to know to get the reference. So if I had to do a ranking, yeah, just F tier, because it looks like, I mean, just like Andrew Garfield, like these are the most least like looking Spider-Man suits up to date. And there you have it, guys. 3 hours, not too bad for the stream. So thank goodness it's not like a 4 or 5 hour stream. So I'm just gonna ramble for the next 2 minutes, and then I'll talk about what's next for the future of my channel. And I know my dog is currently being itchy right now. But anyway, let's ramble on ahead. Coming up in S tier, we got the brand new day suit, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2 and 3 suit, his first movie suit, Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man suit, Bully Maguire's Spider-Man suit, Insomniac Spider-Man suit, Symbiote, Peter B. Parker, the Insomniac Miles Morales, the purplish symbiote Spidey, Ultimate Spider-Man, Spectacular, Black Suit Spectacular, 90s animated show, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the comic book Iron Spider, the Scarlet Spider, which is Kane's. And then on A tier, we eventually got Homecoming Stark suits, Far From Home suits, Amazing Spider-Man 1 suits, Disneyland Avengers Campus, Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales, Homemade Homecoming suits, Wrestler Human Spider from Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man Unlimited, Miguel O'Hara from the games, comics, etc. Across Spider-Verse Miguel O'Hara, Ben Reilly's Classic Spider, the Sensational Suit, Future Foundation. B tier, we got Turn Off the Dark Broadway Musical, integrated No Way Home suits, Across Spider-Verse, Disneyland Andrew Garfield bootleg suits, No Way Home's glossy suit, Superior Spider-Man, All New, All Different, Noir suits, Wide Track Miles Morales suit, Anti-Venom suits, Monstrous Venom symbiote suits, Last Stand, Halloween Miles Morales suits, Homemade Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man suits. And C tier, we got Super Spider-Man, Japanese, MCU Iron Spider suit, Universal Spidey suit, Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man, Anti-Ock, and the White Spider-Man Miguel O'Hara suits. And then D tier, you got 70s Nicholas Hammond suits, you got Electric Company suit, Cosmic Spider-Man, Black and Gold suit, Night Monkey suit, and then Miles Morales homemade suits. And then finally on F tier, we got TASM 1's Vigilante suit, Adidas toothpaste suit, Ghostbusters, Ghost Rider suits, and Hornet. So there you go. That is 60 suits in total when it comes to like all the Spider-Man suits. So before I officially conclude the stream, guys, so yeah, this is like part 2 of the whole Spider-Man stream. So even though, yes, I do plan to like stream more Sonic content later next month, even though we are getting like Sonic 4 stuff. So yeah, I completed the Spider-Man movie tier list ones. I've completed the Spider-Man suits ones. Stay tuned. Next weekend, I don't know when, either next Friday, okay, I'm going to think of the date, either next Friday by the 28th or next Saturday by the 29th, I would do a Spider-Man movie villains tier list ranking, which we will be ranking every Spider-Man villains, because we did the movies, we did the suits. The last one to conclude the Spider-Man 2026 content era in my channel for Pop Culture Dude, we'll be ranking the villains. And this time, I won't be doing it alone. I probably might bring my cousin Gabriel to like help along with me so I can take a break from my voice, because it's hard to carry 2-3 hour live stream all by yourself. But yeah, for those that made it this far for the live stream, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Where would you rank all these Spider-Man suits in your own personal opinion? And always remember, with great power comes great responsibility. This is my gift. This is my curse. Who am I? I'm just a Spider-Man fan. It's pizza time. Bam, bam, and